For Kansas at forward, a 6'7" junior from Griffin, Georgia, number 32, Darren Hancock. For North Carolina at forward, a 6'6" junior from the Bronx, New York, number 31, Brian Reese. For Kansas at forward, a 6'7" junior from Little Rock, Arkansas, number 34, Richard Scott. For North Carolina at forward, a 6'8" senior from Roanoke, Virginia, number 34, George Lynch. For Kansas at center, a 6'10" senior from Buena Park, California, number 51, Eric Pauly. For North Carolina at center, a 7-foot junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 00, Eric Montross. For Kansas at guard, a 6'4" senior from San Jose, California, number 23, Rex Walters. For North Carolina at guard, a 6'3" sophomore from Garner, North Carolina, number 21, Donald Williams. For Kansas at guard, a 5'11" senior from Reseda, California, number 30, Adonis Jordan. For North Carolina at guard, a 6'4" junior from East Elmhurst, New York, number 14, Derek Phelps. For Kansas, the coach in his 5th season, Roy Williams. For North Carolina in his 32nd season, Dean Smith.
Clougherty of Raleigh, of all places, is the referee. Jim Bird, Ted Valentine are the umpires. We're ready to go. Clougherty steps into the center jump circle. Ball is in the air between Scott and Montross. Control of the Tar Heels. Brian Reese gets it to Phelps. Deep right corner, it goes to Williams. He drives the baseline all the way in, scoops it back out to Brian Reese, shoots it to Montross. Montross will not take it through on Pauly. Back out front to Williams, moving into the right corner to Reese. Down low, Montross spins in the lane, off the glass with the left hand, and it's Carolina 2. Kansas nothing in the first 20 seconds of play. Kansas attacking quickly against Carolina's man-to-man. Pauly at the top of the circle against Montross. Drops it off to Hancock. Hancock will hold it high. Gets it to Walters on the right side. Walters working down toward the right. Back out to Adonis Jordan. Shoots for 3, and it's good, and Kansas takes the lead at 3-2. Adonis Jordan has hit 61 of 146 three-pointers on the year, and Brian Reese at the other end in transition for Carolina makes it 4-3 Tar Heels. Jordan gives it up to Hancock, now to Pauly. Back it comes to Hancock, right wing, closest to our broadcast location. Now to Rex Walters against Donald Williams on the left side. He'll come back out front to Hancock. Wanted to go to Jordan. Phelps got in front of him. Hancock on the dribble drive, feeds back out to Walters. He shoots the 3, no good. Montross had a hand on the rebound, knocked out of bounds. John Clougherty says it will belong to Carolina.
Well, you know, both teams have got to be so nervous that these important early possessions become even more important for good things to happen to you. The Tar Heels look fairly composed on offense.
Derek Phelps will take it front court on the angle dribble, picks it up, goes back door to Brian Reese, and he gets the step for a 6-3 Carolina lead. And Reese has got 4 of Carolina's first 6 points. Pauly trying to inbound to Jordan, goes over the top of Phelps, who is back in the backcourt. Now the double team with Lynch and Jordan. He picks up the dribble, knocked away Reese. Pauly recovered. Reese to the floor, away to Walters' left side. He'll drive to the baseline all the way through. Tried to scoop it up, blocked by Lynch. Loose ball went out of bounds, and it went out off Walters. It'll belong to Carolina. Boy, the Tar Heels, Mick, early on had the defense working in extra high gear.
And they're trying to push the ball even after turnovers at their own defensive end. A good start, too, for Brian Reese, who needed it coming off of a 2 of 9 regional final game.
And he started 0-4 in the Meadowlands last Sunday. Montross, top of the circle against Pauly. Comes to Williams. He has Walters on him defensively. Donald works top of the circle. He is clean shaven. He is just had it all shaved off up top when he got his hair cut this week. Brian Reese tried to bounce it out of bounds off Hancock. Saved out front by Scott. That's the first time he's touched it. He got it to Jordan. Jordan takes it toward the left sideline, right in front of the Tar Heel coaching staff. Back to Walters. The 3, and it's good. Rex Walters hits a 3. Adonis Jordan has knocked in a 3. Walters shoots 42% from three-point area, and Jordan 41%. Missed three-pointer by Donald Williams. Rebounded inside Hancock for Kansas. Up it comes to Walters. Walters down on the middle, gives it up on the left wing. Intercepted inside, intended for Scott. Montross picked it off. Score tied at 6. Derek Phelps will get it right through the center jump circle, and the Final Four logo here on this floor, especially made for the Final Four this weekend in New Orleans. By the way, the rims were made, the basket supports, in Angier, North Carolina. Montross up off the glass, no good. Tapped in Lynch, it wouldn't go. Lynch on the follow attempts gets his first field goal. That makes it 8-6 Carolina. 16:55 left to play first half as Jordan brings it across the timeline on the right side. Starts back toward the middle. Bounce pass away to Walters. Well out. Williams tightening up on him near the timeline. Walters on the dribble, spinning away in the lane. Left to the circle. In the corner. Hancock shoots it down low. Turning Scott up with a shot. No good. Good box out by Montross inside. Lynch all alone to claim it. Phelps left side. Top of the circle. High lob. Montross caught it. Couldn't control it. Out of bounds. That pass led Montross just a little bit too far, but Eric disappointed that he couldn't get to it. And with that, substitutions coming in the ball game on Carolina's second turnover. Pat Sullivan and Henrik Rodel are in for Carolina. Kevin Salvadori is also coming in, while Patrick Ritchie is in for Kansas, along with Steve Woodbury.
While that lob pass to Montross was in flight, Pauly screened him, blocked his vision of the pass, and Eric couldn't tell how quickly and how high it was coming, and he just didn't reach enough for it.
Diminutive Calvin Rayford, a 5'6" sophomore, Milwaukee, is at the point now for Kansas. Roy Williams, knowing he'll have to rest his players a lot, he normally plays about 9 or 10 guys. Carolina plays 8 or 9. Ball knocked away, saved by Salvadori. He'll get it ahead to Sullivan on the left. Second turnover, Kansas. Sullivan down the left side. We'll give it to the trailing Phelps. Comes to Rodel out high. Rodel to the left. To Phelps, down low to Montross. Catch of the ball and the slam dunk. Nice. And it's 10-6 in favor of Carolina, and Montross has 4.
He's playing very big.
Across the timeline comes Rayford. Almost lost the dribble. Turns, takes it back toward the middle. Whips it over to Hancock on the left side. Lost it off his foot. Out of bounds. And it was a defensive play by Sullivan that knocked it away. Kansas's third turnover. And right now, we've got a break in the action after just over 4 minutes of play. And Carolina up early by 4 here at the Louisiana Superdome.
For Carolina, those good things are the following. They've beaten Kansas back down court twice and scored easily in transition. Eric Montross has played very tall and very wide so far. He's gotten the ball in spots that he likes to get it, like up high and close to the basket, and he's cashed in. Additionally, the traps are working, bothering Kansas offensively, and the Tar Heels have varied the pickup point on their press to disconcert the Jayhawks as well. It all adds up to 10-6 Carolina, 15:50 remaining in the half.
Carolina, during the course of a ball game, will exert more full court pressure than will Kansas. Kansas prefers the midcourt line as the pickup point. Mick, as you point out, Kansas forced to take 3 of its first 4 shots from the outside here in the early going because of that Carolina defense. And the Jayhawks are 2 of 4, Kansas 5 of 7. We've got a 10-6 Carolina lead as Phelps gets it across the timeline. Ostertag is now in the middle for the Jayhawks, replacing Pauly. Salvadori to Rodel on the right side. Goes down low to Montross. Dumped it to Salvadori. Layup left side. Good ball movement by the Tar Heels that time as Montross caught it right of the lane and dumped it to Salvadori coming down on the left. Jordan in the corner to Hancock on the right. Back out high to Ostertag, who, like Montross, wears 00 on his uniform. And we got a whistle and a foul down inside on Kansas, according to umpire Jim Burr. Well, wait a minute. I thought he pointed Carolina's ball, but I believe he called it on Montross. Or did he? I'm not sure. Who's going to get it out of bounds?
Yeah, it looks like Kansas ball.
That's going to be Kansas ball out of bounds, and I believe the foul was on Montross, and that will be number 1 on the Indianapolis junior. First team foul, Carolina. Woodbury, right side. Walters, top of the circle. Phelps moving out on him. Drives left side. Ball knocked away out of bounds into the Carolina bench. And it'll be out of bounds belonging to the Jayhawks. Difficult to tell. The first signal that time by the official was the other way, which meant it would have been Carolina's ball. Woodbury. In fact, Kansas player Darren Hancock might have gotten knocked down by his own man. Inbounds play to be made by the Jayhawks. It's Woodbury. He gets it right back. Now to Ostertag. Comes right sideline. Jayhawks trying to move out front. That was Adonis Jordan handling it. Now he gets it to Woodbury. Woodbury against Sullivan. A lot of movement off the ball. Kansas trying to find an open player. Woodbury to the baseline. Dumps it to Ostertag. Fumbled the ball. Recovered. Then it got knocked away. And the foul is on Phelps or Salvadori. Ted Valentine out from underneath. And it's Derek Phelps on the reach in. It'll be the first personal on the junior point guard and second team foul against Carolina. Kansas has yet to be whistled for one as Ostertag goes to the line. Nick Kansas has been terrific at the foul line in the NCAA tournament. 84% in the last 2 games, 80% at the line for the tournament.
That's how you get to the Final Four, is by shooting well from the foul line, and Ostertag swishes that one cleanly.
He's not a very good one. He shoots only 58%, but that first one was perfect.
That play that he got the ball inside, that was set up by the dribble penetration of Steve Woodbury. He did a nice job of circling around the offense, probing, and finally dished it inside to Ostertag.
Made them both. It's 12-8. Carolina with just under 15 minutes left to play. Rodel in the left corner. Had it, took a look, but didn't take it. Phelps now to Rodel, top of the circle. Down low to Lynch, spins, will shoot, blocked away. Ostertag recovered by Lynch, and he gets decked. Knocked to the floor by Steve Woodbury, and the foul will be on Woodbury. It's his first. The Wichita, Kansas junior, who's the best six-man probably in college basketball. Most people would make that statement, and I would not be one to disagree with it. Reese is coming back in, and Sullivan is out.
Woodbury's a math major. He is very smart, and it just seems as though good things happen to Kansas whenever he comes in.
Inbounded to Reese in the right corner. Trying to work against Woodbury. Back fell down. Ball lost. They go to the floor. Lynch came up with it. Got it to Rodel. Rodel will give it right back to Phelps. Now to Brian Reese. Reese trying to penetrate. Drives in the lane. Feeds to Salvadori. Salvadori jump hook over Ostertag is good.
Left-handed.
Salvadori with 4. Montross 4. Salvadori with 4. Reese with 4. That's the Carolina scoring. One bucket each for Adonis Jordan and Rex Walters from three-point land. Accounts for the majority of the Kansas scoring. We've got a 14-8 Carolina lead. Woodbury circling out of the right corner. Back up the sideline against the man-to-man. We'll give it now to Ostertag. Now gets it into Walters' hands. Walters, the trap is coming. Rodel and Salvadori. He dribbled down the left sideline. Now has to pick up his dribble. Comes to Scott. Scott looked off Woodbury. Gives it to Walters. He penetrates into the lane. Shoots a jump shot on the move that is good. Rex Walters with 5, and it's 14-10. Carolina with 13:50 to play first half. Phelps just now crosses the timeline against Adonis Jordan. Left-handed dribble, takes him down left side, bounced it down low to Lynch. Double team, feeds it right back to Phelps in the corner. Derek will come left of the circle, spins, goes to the baseline. Can't get through against the double team. Bounced it out to Salvadori. Nearly lost it. Recovered, got it to Reese. Lob inside to Lynch, and he got blocked from behind, and the foul is on Woodbury. Roy Williams up off the Kansas bench along with assistant Kevin Stallings disagreeing. They thought it was a clean block up high from behind, but the foul is going to be on Woodbury, and that will be number 2 on Woodbury, and the second on the Jayhawks as a team as Lynch goes to the line.
What's happening right now, even though Kansas is substituting freely, so are the Heels getting different players in, is that the Carolina defense is defeating the Kansas offense. It's been very difficult for KU to look comfortable with that basketball, and that is un-Jayhawk-like.
George Lynch with a free throw, and it is no good, rimming out. Lynch is a 67% shooter at the line. He has another shot coming. Carolina shooting 70% from the line, and the Tar Heels have been pretty good themselves during the NCAA tournament. 14-10 the score, 13:30 exactly left on the first half clock here at the Louisiana Superdome, where the Tar Heels are a perfect 4-0. That free throw is no good. It went in, almost disappeared, and then fell out. So it remains 14-10. Kansas attacks Carolina. Jordan in the corner. Working up the sideline now is Greg Gurley, who's in the game. He's double-teamed in the corner. In trouble. Got to get rid of it. Finally got it to Jordan. Back in the midcourt area to Hancock. Hancock will work to the right side. Hancock had a couple of torn retinas in both eyes earlier this year, so he is wearing goggles. Jump shot is good by Adonis Jordan. Jordan sticks in his 5th point. He and Walters have 5 each. They've scored all the Kansas points. Well, all but 2. The other bucket, or other 2 free throws belong to Ostertag. It's 14-12. Reese lobbed down inside Montross. Trying to power up, couldn't get it. Knocked outside, recovered Reese. Right back to the baseline he goes. Out front to Williams. He spots up with a 3, and it's good. Nice. Donald Williams, 1 of 2 from the outside, and it's... Well, they put the points on the board for Kansas. Down low to Scott. Scott's attempted layup is no good, and an offensive foul is called on Richard Scott as he knocks Donald Williams flat of his back down low. The score is 17-12. It's a 5-point Carolina lead, and Kansas's 5th turnover of the ball game gives Carolina the ball going the other way. Foul on Scott, by the way, Mick, was his first and the 3rd team foul.
Richard Scott has really been hot lately. He shot 50% or better in 6 of his last 7 games and in 25 of 35 games.
His playing time really picked up when sophomore Ben Davis left school, transferred to Florida back in November. Montross up for the shot, couldn't get it to go down, and because he got hammered by Eric Pauly. Pauly charged with his first down inside, 4th team foul against the Jayhawks, and the Tar Heels. Eric Montross will go to the line with 12:23 left to play first half, and Carolina leading by 5. Heels have been up by as many as 6.
That was at 12-6 at the 15:40 mark. Kansas has tried to front Montross, but when they've done so, the ball has been lobbed over the top of them to him, and Eric has done a great job of not pushing off of the defender to get in position to receive the lob pass.
Second string AP All-America now has 5 points, getting ready for his second free throw. He could give Carolina its biggest lead, and does at 19-12. 12:23 left to play first half. Rayford back in the lineup at point guard. He'll bring it across the timeline. He dribbles so low to the ground, it's tough to take it away from him. Walters, left side against Rodel. Looking inside. Boy, Carolina, a lot of movement defensively. Rodel knocked down. Got hit in the chin. Passes away to Scott. He drives. Lynch is there. Ball knocked outside. Recovered Walters. He shoots a 3, and it's good. Boy, the Jayhawks are deadly from the outside. Walters with 2. He's got 2 3-point field goals for 8 points, and it's 19-15, and those threes are keeping the Jayhawks in it right now. Rodel loops it right side to Reese, down low to Lynch on the right. Turns on Scott, shoots, no good. Montross with a rebound, and they're going to call Montross for the foul down low, and that will be his second. Montross whistle for the push down inside. That will be the 3rd team foul called on Carolina. And we've got another break in the action with just under 12 minutes of play left in the first half. And the Tar Heels leading by 4 at the Louisiana Superdome.
19-15, Carolina, Kansas's ball. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
WCZU, Burlington, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill.
My bosses have asked me to tell you that this broadcast is authorized under broadcast rights granted by the NCAA and Host Communications Incorporated. It's intended solely for the entertainment of our listening audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of it without the express written consent of the NCAA, Host Communications, Village Sports, and WCHL Radio in Chapel Hill is prohibited.
Montross continues to play with 2 personal fouls following the timeout. The ball to be inbounded by Pauly. He got the ball into Woodbury. Woodbury, Jordan, Pauly, Scott, Walters all in the game for Kansas along with Jordan. Carolina has got Williams, Rodel, Sullivan, Lynch, and Montross on the floor right now. Jordan takes it left wing right in front of the Tar Heel bench, picks up his dribble against Williams, goes inside, back out it comes to Walters. He dribbles foul line, hands it off to Pauly. Pauly will push it away to Woodbury. In the corner it goes to Jordan. Jordan against Donald Williams, down low to Scott. Scott spins baseline, can't put up the shot, and the foul is called on Rodel for the push, and Henrik goes down, shaken up briefly on the play. Foul on Rodel is his first, and that'll be the 4th team foul against Carolina.
Rodel was trying to double down when the ball came in to Richard Scott, and it looked like Henrik tripped, and he lost his balance, and it caused him to knock into Scott pretty hard.
Walters will lob it in to Pauly. Pauly turns, shoots baseline, and scores, and the foul is on Carolina. Ted Valentine whistles a foul on the Tar Heels, and it's going to be on Derek Phelps, and that will be number 2 on Phelps. So Phelps and Montross both with 2 fouls each in the first 9 minutes of play, and that's the 5th team foul.
Pauly reminds me of a leaner, slightly taller version of Pete Chilcutt in that he's got a real nice touch with the jump shot from 15 feet and in.
Pauly's free throw is good. He got the bucket, and he converts on the 3-point play, and that brings Kansas within 1 at 19-18. Carolina's biggest lead in the ball game was 7 at 19-12, so the Jayhawks are on a 6-0 run here in the last minute and 4 seconds of play. Now comes the zone press by the Jayhawks, but Phelps gets it to Williams, off to Lynch, off to Sullivan, layup no good, tapped by Lynch, ball knocked away, went out of bounds, off Lynch, says Flaherty, and it will belong to Kansas. That brings Coach Dean Smith right to the edge of the coach's box here at the Superdome, protesting that call. He thought it got knocked out of Lynch's hands by the Jayhawks. Kansas with a chance to retake the lead. Jordan across the timeline, working left side. Bounce pass coming now to Pauly. Eric Pauly needing help. Get it away to Scott, or Woodbury driving. Got it to Pauly, and Derek Phelps saved it as the ball got loose from Pauly. Saved it out of bounds off Pauly. It'll be Carolina's ball on Kansas' 6th turnover. Montross inbounds to Phelps. 10:45 to play first half. The Carolina lead is 1 at 19-18. Phelps across the timeline, left-handed dribble. Picks it up, goes to Lynch, who works out front against Kansas, and it's against Patrick Ritchie. Inside to Montross. We get a whistle and a foul called on Kansas, and it's on Rex Walters, who doubled down trying to help out on the low post pass. The foul on Walters is his first, and that is the 5th team foul against Kansas. Carolina's ball out of bounds underneath its own basket. Phelps will inbound it. Gets it into Donald Williams. Out comes to Lynch, out high against Ritchie. Now bounce pass comes to Phelps. Down low to Montross. Turns up off the glass, too strong. Knocked outside, recovered Lynch. Hanging in the lane, scores from about 6 feet. George Lynch, tremendous effort to get the rebound and then to put it right back, and it's 21-18 Carolina. Trapped by the Tar Heels. The pass to Ritchie, now to Woodbury. Jumper from the right corner, no good. Bounces long. Woodbury recovered. Back to the baseline. Lays it up off the glass. A high shot up off the glass, and it's good by Woodbury, and that's his first basket. Kansas back within one at 21-20. We're midway through the first half in the Superdome, and it's just like we expected. A very tight, closely played game by both these teams. Williams bounces it inside to Lynch. Turns baseline. Short jumper. I believe Kansas got a hand on it. Maybe Ritchie. And out of there with it is Woodbury. Spins away from Lynch. Comes by Montross. Angle dribble to the right side. Comes to the wing. Keeps it alive against Pat Sullivan. Looks down inside. Montross fronting Pauly. And Woodbury used an elbow to knock Sullivan down. And that was not a very smart foul. I mean, he literally leaned into him and floored him. And Roy Williams is going to pull him right out of the game because it's his third personal foul. He's taking him out for that reason, but he will also, I think, get on him for the manner in which he committed his third.
Yeah, it is. It's in the rule book. Swinging your elbows is against the rules. Eric Montross was called for it in the Cincinnati game, and it is a foul.
That is the 16th foul against Kansas, and 3 are on the junior from Wichita. Phelps across the timeline now against Jordan. Carolina by 1. Using a Salvadori pick at the top of the circle. Jump pass to Williams in the left corner. Dribbling around, takes the shot off the glass and banked it in. Right over the top of Rex Walters. Donald Williams with 5. Kansas quickly attacks. Angle dribble to the right side by Jordan. He'll go back to the left. Bounce pass away to Hancock. Well out against Salvadori. Moving left side. The trap is coming and the switch as Reese picks him up. To Walters. In the corner to Jordan. Jordan high lob. Back it comes now to Ritchie. Up the sideline on the left. He'll put it to the floor. Brings it top of the circle on the dribble. Spins. Couldn't go to Hancock. Gives it to Walters out in the midcourt area. Working to the left side. He thought of using a Ritchie pick. Could not. Now on the drive. Stopped. Fall away jump shot is no good. Ball knocked high in the air and recovered by Hancock. Reese didn't even go up to contest him. I don't think he thought he could get it against the high leaping Hancock. Up the sideline to Walters. He penetrates. Bounces it to Hancock. Layup off the glass is no good. Knocked out of bounds off Ostertag, and it will belong to Carolina. Hancock goes to the deck. Gets up slowly, and Rayford is coming back into the lineup for Kansas with 8:39 to play in the first half. Out is Adonis Jordan. Carolina leads 23-20.
Boy, Adonis is drenched with sweat. He's got his mouth open and his shirt tail out. Phelps has been guarding him tenaciously.
Derek Phelps in the backcourt against Calvin Rayford. Gets it across the timeline against the little guy out of Wisconsin. Now to Salvadori. Top of the circle against Ritchie. Comes right back to Williams. Williams has Walters on him defensively. Moves to the right. Fall away shot taken short. Rebounded Montross and stuck in off the glass. The putback for his 8th point gives Carolina a 25-20 lead. Hancock right corner. Ostertag trying to get down low. Montross goes to the deck. Ball lost out of bounds. It'll belong to Carolina. Ostertag just rode him down like a bronco at the rodeo. But it was away from the action, and the officials letting that play go in the middle. 25-20 the score. Lynch is back for Carolina along with Rodel. And coming back in for Kansas is going to be Greg Gurley from Leawood, Kansas. Former high school player of the year in that state.
Ostertag is missing 5 teeth because of a water slide accident in high school. That play with Montross sliding across the floor looked like it could be water bogganing.
Lynch knows them both. They were in Charlotte back during the summer attending a camp. They went out to eat, and people recognized Lynch, and they thought Ostertag might be Montross, but he was not. They asked Lynch yesterday during the news conference if there's anything that either one of them can do that the other could. He said Ostertag could take his teeth out, and here he could. This jumper went off the rim, bouncing to the left baseline, inbound, or rather knocked out of bounds by George Lynch. It will belong to Kansas, but right now we've got another break in the action. So 7:56 to play at the Louisiana Superdome in this first semifinal game in the first half. With the score, timeout on the floor. Carolina 25, Kansas 20.
Carolina. The winner meets either Michigan or Kentucky Monday night for the national championship. And you can call and talk to Coach Dean Smith about it on the Blue Line Radio Show. Heard live on a network of stations every Thursday night between 7 and 8. The Blue Line, Thursday evenings at 7 o'clock. We talked about the resolve that this Tar Heel basketball team has shown all year. Kansas is a team that also plays with a great deal of resiliency. You think that things are going well for the the Tar Heels, and then you look up and KU is 3 down or 2 down or in this point 5 down. Carolina shooting 11 of 22, 50%. Kansas is 7 of 12, 58%, but they're 3 of 5 from outside the arc.
Ostertag inbounds the ball to Adonis Jordan. Carolina's in a zone defense now as Jordan gets it across the timeline. In zone coming out of the timeout. Gurley on the left side. Now get it back out front to Hancock. Right side, they swing it to Jordan. Back to Gurley in the middle. They go down the sideline now to Hancock. He's in the left corner. Brian Reese is right in front of him out of this zone. Comes cross court across the top of the zone to Jordan. Now to Gurley. He'll come right back to Jordan with it. Ritchie at the high post calling for the ball. Hancock, they go to Gurley. Back to Adonis Jordan. Williams is on him. High post Ostertag. Ostertag against Salvadori. Now off to Gurley. He'll shoot from the wing, and it's no good. Rebounded by Williams. He'll go up the sideline to Brian Reese. Reese down against Jordan. Adonis got back. Brian couldn't go through. Rodel, top of the circle. Looking for Salvadori to Lynch. Jumper from the baseline. Good. 27-20. That matches Carolina's biggest lead in the ball game on George Lynch's third field goal. Lynch here in the first half, 3 of 7 from the field. Gurley to Ostertag, top of the circle, left wing. Now to Hancock, gets by Brian Reese, drives right down the lane, dumped it to Ostertag. His hook is no good, tapped up, no good. They continue to crash the boards, knocked away Lynch into Williams' hands. Carolina on the move. Williams front court right to the top of the circle. He'll give it up to Brian Reese. Reese holds it behind his head, comes to Riddle at the top. Made one pass inside, goes to Lynch. Moving in, up off the glass. It's good.
Pretty.
29-20. George Lynch has hit 2 in a row. The Tar Heels have their biggest lead of the game with 6.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Ritchie, top of the circle against Lynch. He'll loop a pass to Hancock, right of the circle. Reese is playing well off of him. Comes to Jordan. He drives by Lynch. Stops over Reese. No good. They crash the boards. Ostertag trying to control it. Knocked away. Salvadori into Lynch's hand. Now gets it to Riddle. Riddle will bring it front court on the left side. Gives it to Lynch. Lynch looked off Williams on the right. Comes to Riddle on the left. Riddle moving against Gurley to the baseline. Stopped. Back out front to Reese. Reese will give it right back to Riddle. Riddle to Williams baseline. Jordan getting on him. Below to Salvadori. Salvadori bounces it to Riddle. Top of the circle. Now to Lynch. He moves on Ritchie. Shot off the baseline. No good. Lynch recovers. Turns. Shoots. No good. Rebounded. Brian Reese. Reese underneath. Tried for the stick back, and the foul is on Ostertag. Carolina is dominating the offensive glass at the moment. Kansas is trying to play volleyball with it off its offensive glass, and somehow Carolina keeps coming up with those taps that the Jayhawks are getting.
That's a very excellent assessment of what has happened over the last several minutes, and a great time for Carolina to go to the zone after the timeout. You figure during a timeout the other team's going to change their offense, so why not change your defense? Also, Rex Walters has been out this entire time, and with the zone buster not in there, it's a perfect time to pack the middle and play a 2-3.
Reese at the free throw line on Kansas's 7th team foul. Free throw by Reese is no good. Carolina has missed its last. Well, they missed 2 early on. Then Montross made a couple, and now Reese has missed. So the Tar Heels are 2 of 5 in the ball game. Brian will have another shot coming. He was actually fouled in the act of shooting. What about the effort by George Lynch? Already 7 rebounds, coming off 2 straight double-doubles in the East Regional last week, where he was the MVP. Reese ready on the next free throw, and this one's good. 30-20 is the score. Sullivan is coming into the lineup now, and Reese will go out. Carolina with a 10-point lead. The Tar Heels shoot 50% from the field. Kansas's percentage mix has quickly dropped to 44% on 7 of 16 shooting.
It's been about 3 minutes since Kansas has gotten any points.
Sean Pearson's in the game now, and he handles it into the right corner. Riddle is on him defensively. Jump pass to Walters up the sideline. Now cross-court pass to Adonis Jordan. Jump shot left corner. No good. Bounces long. Paulie's got the rebound out front to Walters. Walters hanging jump shot from the left of the circle is good. He got the bounce, front rim, side rim, and finally good. And Walters has 10 points for Kansas. 30-22 with 5:15 left in the first half. Calabria handling. High lob to Montross. What a catch of the ball. Put it down, stripped of the ball, and Kansas comes up with it. Richard Scott came up with that ball. Gets it off to Walters. Front court against Calabria on the drive. Feeds Scott. Jumper from the corner. No good. An air ball. Knocked out of bounds. Went out off Montross. It'll belong to Kansas. And Montross pops his hands together, frustrated that he couldn't hold on to that missed shot. Reese is trying to hustle back into the lineup, and he will get back in.
Well, you gotta hand it to Kansas for doubling down and jamming Eric Montross and knocking the ball loose at the other end.
He made a great catch of the ball and then couldn't capitalize. Hook shot by Scott is no good, and Carolina's called for the foul down inside. Referee John Clockerty calling, I believe, Henrik Rodel. It will be number 2 on the Heusenstamm Germany senior. 6-team foul, but 2 shots coming for Richard Scott, who is only a 50% shooter. The guards are such great free throw shooters, all 3 of them. Walters at 87%, Woodbury at nearly 88%, Adonis Jordan at 79%. That pushes up the percentage and overcomes the percentages of some people like Scott, who is hitting only half his free throws all year. But the Jayhawks are now 4 of 4 at the line as Scott Kansas first. Scott is 7 of 10 from the field, making that Mid-East Regional victory over Indiana last Saturday.
He's Kansas's version of George Lynch, and one of his main hobbies, fishing.
Made them both, and it is 30-24. 4:56 left to play first half. Kansas trying to mount something, and floored is Scott. No foul on Montross. Carolina fans holding their breath. They thought that might be the 3rd on the big fella. Brian Reese left side. Now he puts it to the floor. Will bring it out in the midcourt area on his own dribble. Now he starts the drive on Pearson. Feeds in the corner to Donald Williams. Walters tightens up on him. They've already seen a little bit of what Williams can do from the outside. Reese to Sullivan. He'll push it back out front to Williams. He's open for 3. Got it. Twisted. Boy, they did a great job of working him open left of the circle, and it's 33-24. Carolina by 9. Adonis Jordan on the drive, feeds Walters corner. He shoots for 3, and it's good. The left-hander has 3 3-pointers, 13 points already in the first half. He was 13 of his last 21 coming into this ball game. So far today, he has made 3 of 4 from 3-point range, and a whistle and a foul on Kansas down inside.
That's a big break for the Tar Heels, because there was a lob pass thrown into Sullivan, who took his eyes off of it, and it was a free ball for a moment.
Beg your pardon, there was no foul on the play, just went out of bounds and will belong to Carolina. Went out off Kansas. I thought the whistle had indicated a foul at first.
That's still a big break for Carolina. By rights, it should be KU ball. At least they had an excellent chance to win it.
Reese will inbound from the baseline. Burr hands him the ball. Umpire Burr. Phelps baseline to Salvadori. Looked over to his left. Now you give it to George Lynch. Richie moving out on him. Lynch spins away. Starts down the left. Now keeps his dribble alive. Moving in. Hanging in the air. Shots up and good. George Lynch with 10. George Lynch 5 of 11 from the field, and it's 35-27. Carolina by 8 points. Hancock, top of the circle against Brian Reese with 3:40 to play in the half. By a standing Dean Smith into the corner. Jump pass back out to Walters at the foul line. He backs to the top of the circle, gives it to Jordan. Down inside to Pauly, turns, shoots over the shorter George Lynch. Couldn't get it. That ball tapped in by Hancock. Carolina thought it was touched up on the rim, but it will be allowed. No basket interference, and Ted Valentine runs by the bench telling Carolina's Dean Smith to take a seat. 35-29. Phelps puts it to Donald Williams, who's got Walters on him. Williams moving left side, bounces to Brian Reese. Moving in on Hancock, spins to the lane, puts up the shot, no good. They call him for the travel. Reese was asking for the foul and doesn't get it on the 4th turnover by Carolina. And Brian Reese complained to no avail. The referee, John Clackerty. So we got a timeout. An official breaking the action.
Their offense is being whipped by the Carolina defense. On the other side, Tar Heel offense against the KU defense. They've had some success against Kansas, getting it into Eric Montross, Donald Williams shooting from the perimeter, and also George Lynch doing what he does best, and that is just, well, hanging around and just lynching. 7 rebounds, 10 points. He's had a, George Lynch type game. From the foul line, Carolina 3 of 6, Kansas 5 of 5, and turnovers are KU 8 and the Tar Heels 4.
Mick, 11 of Carolina's 28 shots thus far in the ball game have been layups, while Kansas has only 5 of its 22 shots as layups. And Carolina's in the point zone as Kansas attacks. Gurley comes out front to Jordan. He gives it to Hancock. Now to Gurley. Back it goes to Jordan on the left wing. To Gurley on the right wing. He'll shoot from the outside, and it's good. Boy, I believe everybody in Jayhawk blue can make 3-pointers.
Nothing Gurley about that one.
He is 12 of 31 on the year, and Kansas is back within 3. Carolina had been up, I believe, by as many as, 10 at one time. I remember it being 30-20.
It's been 10 twice.
Lynch on the baseline drive, and he stepped out of bounds, according to Jim Burr. That will turn it over. 5th turnover for the Tar Heels with 2:35 left to play in the first half, and the Jayhawk fans have got a lot to cheer about here as the Jayhawks are trying to get back into it here before intermission and have done a fine job of doing so.
Rex Walters back in, Tar Heels out of the zone.
Jordan will give the ball to Pauly. Left side against Salvadori. Holding it high. Pauly against Salvadori. Finally putting it to the floor. Got to get rid of it. In trouble. Dropped it off to Jordan. He drives to the baseline. Salvadori and Lynch try to cut him off. He's got no pass at all, and he tried to bounce it off. Lynch couldn't do it. Away to Sullivan. Hancock trying to catch up, and Sullivan gets stripped of the ball. Sullivan just cannot compete on a quickness basis with Darren Hancock. He let him catch him from behind, and he stripped him of the ball. But he went out of bounds off Hancock. It'll be Carolina's ball, but he took away a sure two.
Hancock has got eye-opening leaping ability, long arms, and good speed to go with it.
Rodel out to Lynch. He'll drop it to Salvadori out high. Pauly coming out on him to Donald Williams. Takes the three. Yes! Knocks the bottom out of it, and Williams complaining that he was hit on the wrist on that play. He's made 3 3-pointers, has 11 first-half points, 38-32 Carolina. Jordan will bounce it to Hancock. Bounces it down low to Pauly, hooked it up over Salvadori, and it's good. Eric Pauly's second field goal. That was an excellent entry pass and good movement with it when Pauly caught it down on the low post on the right side. Rodel pushes it to Williams, 38-34. Sullivan down the right sideline to Rodel. He'll come toward the middle against the very quick Adonis Jordan. Pass over to Sullivan. Sullivan looking for Salvadori, got it to him, gives it back to Sullivan. Right at the top of the circle, wanted to go to Lynch, has to go to Williams. Williams working toward the right corner, caught in the double team. Donald will loop it across court to Henrik Rodel. He gives it to George Lynch, took his eye off of it, and it went out of bounds. You don't see the senior from Roanoke do that very often. Just lose his concentration on the basketball. 1:14 left in the half. Kansas will get the ball on Carolina's 6th turnover.
He was looking to pass it to Salvadori, who was cutting toward the basket, and he thought pass before he caught it and turned it over.
And coming front court, he just softly taps himself on the chest to indicate to his teammates that was my fault. Look for him soon to do something to make up for it. Walters trapped. Comes cross court to Jordan. He's got a Ritchie screen. Takes the jumper. No good. Rebounded by Sullivan. Got a good screen down low from Rodel in order to get that ball off the rim. Rodel front court now. Working on the right side. Gives it to Sullivan out high. Sullivan against Hancock. Puts it to the floor. Moving left side. Stops. We'll give it to Rodel. Rodel working against Jordan. Down low to Salvadori. Turns. Short jumper off the baseline. No good. Pauly with a rebound. 38-34 with 30 seconds left to play first half. Shot clock is on. Jordan to Walters. He fires a three. No good. Bounces long. They try to run it down, and Walters and Lynch go out of bounds for it. Walters falls into the photographers, and Ted Valentine says Carolina ball. The Tar Heels will no doubt hold for one shot, as they usually do. Yeah, Lynch is complaining to Ted Valentine about something, and Valentine and Lynch are having a long talk, and Valentine's doing most of the talking.
Coach Smith is going to get Brian Reese back in for Sullivan to give the Tar Heels a little bit more punch offensively.
Where have Montross and Phelps been? On the bench, because, well, Phelps is back in there now. Carolina didn't want to risk each getting their third. Reese will drive baseline. Underneath, tried to lay it up. Blocks. Salvadori recovers and scores on the jump hook from the right side. Salvadori with 6, 40-34, 7, 6, 5, 4. Adonis Jordan will go to Hancock. Hancock with an open jumper from the left, and it is good for 2. It goes just at the buzzer. Darren Hancock's second field goal of the game. And as the teams head to the dressing room, Carolina, after leading by as many as 10, has a 6-point or a 4-point advantage at 40-36. Williams will inbound from the right sideline. Got to get rid of it. Now we'll push it out front to Montross. Caught it in the other timeline. We'll hand it off to Phelps, who comes to get it. He indicates the play now as he tries to work against Jordan. Phelps in the midcourt area will whistle a pass to Reese. Left wing. High lob to Montross. Good catch of the ball underneath. Puts it up, scores, and gets fouled by Scott. Richard Scott charged with his third. Montross gets his 8th point of the second half and will have a chance for another 3-point play. He now has 16 points in the ball game, but it's 52-46 Carolina. That is Kansas's 4th team foul.
Boy, this has been as good as I've seen Eric play in an important game. He is just very patient with the ball. And patient.
Free throw is no good. Reese recovers it, fires off the glass. It went in, came out, went back in. Brian Reese gets the bucket. He's got 9, and it's 54-46. Carolina with its biggest second half lead of 8.
How big was that? Good rebounding job by Reese.
Jordan jump pass to Woodbury over the top of Reese. Baseline jumper Woodbury, no good. Phelps with a rebound. Dribbling out of traffic. Phelps will bring it front court, right side. Takes it back to the circle. Spins away. Feeds out front to Williams. Williams trying to spot up. Bounces to Reese in the corner. Ryan looking for Montross. Can't get him the ball. Goes across the top of the defense to Williams. Now to Lynch against Scott out high. high. He dribbles to the right. High lob to Montross and threw it right over his head out of bounds. Montross says, no, George, that was okay. That was my fault. I should have run that ball down.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pass, and Eric just caught him by surprise, it appeared. He was wrong-footed, perhaps, and off balance. I started to say a moment ago, Woody, Eric has been not only patient with the ball, not hurrying up with his power move, waiting to see if his head fakes will work. He's also been patient when he's gotten the defender pinned and waiting for the ball to see if it will come into him before trying to find a new spot.
14-10 left to play in the ball game as Waters gets it from Jordan on the left side. Spins away against Phelps, comes top of the circle. Trying to get the shot, knocked away. Now dumped it off to Woodbury. Woodbury will bring Williams back toward the top of the circle, runs right by Lynch. Now the bounce pass to Walters. Walters trying to go right side to Jordan. He'll shoot the three from the outside, and it's good. Adonis Jordan bangs in his third three-pointer of the game. Between them, the Kansas guards have made 7 three-pointers, 54-49. Williams on the left side against Walters. He'll bring him to the middle. In the lane, up off the glass, and it's good. Driving right down the right side on Rex Walters. Kansas quickly front court, and Ostertag just knocked Montross away from the ball, and Phelps knocked it away, tried to save it, caught by Kansas in the lane, Woodbury. Ostertag really elbowed Montross down low. Montross complaining to Clougherty. It's 56-51 on Ostertag's first field goal of the ball game. 56-51, as I told you. Phelps losing it and traveled with it as he falls down. Jim Burr will give the ball to Kansas on the turnover. With that, Rodel is in replacing Williams, and Hancock comes in for Kansas replacing Rex Walters.
And that's what I mean about Kansas and their ability, like Carolina, to answer a run by the other team. The Tar Heels were up 9 just a moment ago. Now all of a sudden it's a 5-point game. And KU ball.
Derek Phelps took that ball, and he is gippy now as Adonis Jordan comes across the timeline. Jordan may notice that and try to work on it. Phelps is really grimacing now as he's guarding Jordan out front. He's hurt. Woodbury. Lynch is on him. He'll whip it away to Hancock. Looking down inside, they go to Scott. Spins, baseline, soft jumper, good. Whistle, and the foul is on Ostertag. Ostertag, they were looking for him that time. Clougherty's been watching him since Montross complained.
Now, will that basket count? I believe
the bucket was good by Scott. It came before the foul for his 6th point. That's his 3rd field goal of the second half. He's 3 for 3 here in the second half. And the foul on Ostertag is his 2nd, 5th team foul on Kansas.
Ostertag has got a reaching height of 9 feet 6 inches. He can touch the rim standing on tiptoe.
John Clougherty has had another whistle malfunction on him. He needs some help. And he has called a Kansas trainer over to put some liquid into it.
It's his contact lens, I believe.
Or is it his contact lens? Yes, it is. It is his contact lens for Raleigh's John Clougherty, the referee in this game. John is a Big East SEC official. The way the NCAA officiating is handled at the Final Four, 3 officials will work today's game, 3 will work the second semifinal game, and 3 officials have already been assigned that will work neither semifinal game for the championship game on Monday night. Clougherty is still having a bit of trouble. There is a standby official at the table. That is Andre Patillo, in case John Clougherty would have more than the trouble he needs right now with his contact.
I got some
Kansas trainers
here.
helping him, and now Matt Doherty, the former Carolina player and first year as a Kansas assistant after working 2 years under his old high school coach at Davidson, has also asked John Clougherty. John's going to try again to get that contact lens in.
That's very tough because his hands are sweaty. He's shaking some because of the physical exertion that he's been going under. And in sweat is sodium, salt. And when you put salt in your eye, it stings. So he's in a jam right now.
Well, John Clougherty's got it fixed at least for the moment, and Carolina will inbound the ball. 56-53, 12:45 to go. Rodel across the timeline. Out in the midcourt area. Coming back now toward the middle against Hancock. Trying to lose him, and we get a whistle, and 5 seconds closely guarded. That will cause the turnover. And Roy Williams urging his charges on over in front of the Kansas bench with both fists clenched and held up right in front of him. Calabria was in briefly. So was Sullivan. They both go out as Williams and Reese return.
I think that delays in games like that favor the team that's behind. They can collect themselves, talk, and sort of regroup.
Rayford trying to use an Ostertag pick at the top. Comes back to the left to Walters. Now out front to Hancock. Hancock working to the right side on the drive. Baseline. Dumped it off inside. Threw it right by Ostertag. Williams intercept. Coming front court. Spots up. The 3. Off the rim. No good. Knocked out of bounds. It went out off Scott. It's Carolina's ball. He just could not hold that slippery basketball. 56-53 Carolina with 12:15 remaining to be played. 12-16. Next opportunity, we'll be giving you a chance for a station break. So stand by. Rodel holds it high to inbound off the baseline. Got it to Lynch out in the midcourt area. Scott moving out on him. Now to Rodel. Walters is running him. He'll go to Reese. Reese has Hancock on him. Both of those are athletes. Here's Reese hanging in the lane. Put it up too hard. Ostertag with a rebound and a reach in called on Reese. First personal foul on Brian Reese. 5th team foul on Carolina's second half. Let's pause quickly. 10 seconds. Station identification. You're listening to Carolina, Kansas on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
WZZU, Burlington, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. The classic rock station. 93.9 ZZU.
A gimpy Derek Phelps is back in the lineup, noticeably in pain. How effective he can be against Rick Walters, we will see. Walters handles it, down low to Scott. Turns, shots up, no good. Rebounded Reese, and over his back went Darren Hancock. Foul on the Griffin, Georgia Jr. is his first. It'll be the 6th team foul on Kansas, and the ball will belong to Carolina. Hancock had originally committed to UNLV out of high school, but he was short of the core curriculum. Reese has played last year at Garden City Community College, Mick, coming to Kansas, and is in a bit of academic trouble as we understand it.
Yeah, I think so too. Reese is not shooting well, but one thing he can still do, even if he's reluctant to take his outside shot, is hit the boards, and he's doing that well.
Official break in the action with just under 12 minutes left to play in the game at the Louisiana Superdome.
11 minutes and 54 seconds of basketball remain. Who will meet either Michigan or Kentucky on Monday night for the national championship? Tar Heels lead it by 3, and NCAA members are concerned about their communities. Through the National Youth Sports Foundation program, NCAA member schools assist economically disadvantaged children with sports. That's a message from the NCAA. Things are about even. Both teams getting most of their points off of their defense, but here lately, the two teams have had to attack set defenses, and the going has been tougher. KU 7 of 12, 58%. Carolina 7 of 12, 58%.
During the NCAA, Roy Williams has lauded the ability of his players to focus on each opponent, and in each game, there's been a timeout when the Jayhawks have had to respond, and they have, and they're coming out of a timeout right now, and Walters fouls Donald Williams, who caught the pass from Kevin Salvadori. Foul on Walters is his second. 7th team foul. Well, it should be the 7th team foul. That should be 1-1, and John Clockerty has just now noticed that. Mick, Rex Walters and Adonis Jordan, a combined 7 of 12 from three-point area in this ball game tonight.
Yeah, you get the sense that, and we said earlier that they've kept Kansas in this ball game, and the feeling that I've got is that if they're to win, that three-point stroke from both Jordan and Walters is going to have to continue.
The only other three-pointer in the game for the Jayhawks by Greg Gurley. Donald Williams at the free throw line for the Tar Heels, and it's good, 57-53. Williams now with 14 points. He's had 9 20-point-plus efforts on the year, including 3 of the last 8 for Carolina, in building up a 13.7 scoring average. Was on the All-East Regional team last week with teammates Eric Montross and George Lynch. Made them both. It's 58-53, Carolina by 5. Across the timeline comes Adonis Jordan, left side against Williams. Jordan keeps that dribble alive, moving to the right. Midcourt here, comes back to Hancock. Reese playing well off of him. Salvadori fronting Scott down low. Montross and Ostertag pushing off each other at the low post. Ostertag moving left side. Jordan jump pass away to Hancock. Hancock looking inside, comes cross court. Got it to Jordan just out of Derek Phelps' reach. Now Jordan to Walters. Walters against Donald Williams. Can't get through. Puts it to Adonis Jordan. Now Jordan will bring it to the middle. Stops, pops in the lane. No good. Rebounded by Phelps. He just went up between the players in the lane. Montross and Richard Scott to claim that rebound. Goes to Brian Reese. Down low to Montross. Montross spins to the lane and scores. Jump hook by Eric Montross. He's got 18. 60-53. Carolina by 7.
Derek Phelps is still not, he's not near himself. He's been limping and grimacing noticeably ever since he went down hard a few moments ago. He's guarding Rex Walters now, and Kansas has got to realize that and try to get, as cruel as it sounds, get Rex on him with the ball and try to take advantage of his injury.
Scott Cherry's coming in to replace him now, and the jeopardy that you run here, or the chance that you take here, is that he'll sit down, and if he's on that bench for too much time, then things may tighten up, and it is noticeable that Derek Phelps is in pain with that hip. That was the play. He injured himself on the play where he was called for traveling when he got knocked down on the drive right of the lane. Pauly holds the ball high against Montross, puts it to the floor, spins back, couldn't go back door, got it to Jordan, fumbled it, recovered. Works left side, back to the foul line. Pass over to Hancock, baseline, short shot, up, no good. Tapped by Montross, went out of bounds off Kansas. Last touch by either Hancock or Pauly at the baseline. It will belong to Carolina. 10:32 to play. The Tar Heels are up 7 and have the basketball. Salvadori will inbound against full court. Jayhawk pressure to Donald Williams. He gets it right back to Salvadori. He'll go down the left side into the front court to Brian Reese on the left side. He'll bring it back out front. Coach Smith yelling out offensive instructions now. Reese trying to take Jordan, stole the ball. Jordan will get the layup. Reese trying to catch up, and he scores. Reese runs right through the row of cheerleaders down at the end of the floor. Jordan has his 13th point of the game. 60-55 with 10:05 to play. Scott Cherry against Adonis Jordan. The trap is coming in the corner to Donald Williams, right through his hands, out of bounds. Second time that's happened tonight that the Tar Heels have wanted to go before catching the ball.
Carolina is not an outstanding ball handling team, especially when Derek Phelps is out of the lineup, and boy, has that been evident lately.
Lynch is in. Rodel is in as Reese and Montross both go out. Phelps has moved down the bench. Montross is asking him how he is. Jordan across the timeline. Works right side. Gives it to Hancock on the wing. Darren will put it to the floor against Rodel, moving into the corner. Now he gives it to Walters. He's open for three. He takes another one off the front of the rim. Williams with a rebound. Comes out of there on his own dribble. Will bring it front court on the right side. Stops, pops the three. Good. Donald Williams hits his fourth three-pointer of the ball game. And at the other end, Kansas tries to get the transition. Blocks Salvadori. Ball loose on the floor. Ritchie recovers, hooks it up. No good. Cherry with the rebound. Scott Cherry out from underneath. What's he doing in there with those guys?
I have no idea.
Cherry brings it right through the center jump circle. It's 63-55. Now Cherry sets up the offense, moving to the left side. Bounced it to Salvadori, just out of his reach. It'll go out of bounds and belong to Kansas. Phelps is coming back, and he is limping, or hobbling would be a better description, noticeably, for Carolina. Cherry goes out.
At this point, a 75 or an 80% Derek Phelps is better than anything else you've got.
Well, Cherry gave him a few good minutes, and that's all they wanted from him. Dean Smith had told us throughout his career he wouldn't be afraid to put Scott Cherry in a big game for a few minutes, and he just did. 9:09 remaining to be played in this first national semifinal game. Rayford's back in the game at point guard, gives it to Woodbury. Woodbury against Sullivan. Comes to the middle, backing outside, keeping his dribble alive. Now out into the midcourt area. Bounced it to Rex Walters. Phelps trying to keep up with him. Walters against George Lynch to the left side. Back up top to Rayford. On the right side to Woodbury. Looks low for Pauly. In the corner, Rodel on him. Woodbury with three personals, gives it to Rayford. Rayford, the bounce pass to Scott in the left corner. Phelps has put the body on him. Up the sideline he comes. Shot clock is down now to 11 in 10 seconds. Roy Walters with a call out to go. That means run a play. Here's Walters, and he dumps it off to Rayford. Rayford bounces low to Pauly, turns, shoots, no good. Rebounded by Scott, blocked Salvadori. He'll give it to Phelps. They stop play. And Roy Williams barking out at Jim Burr. And Jim Burr was stopping play. The shot clock had sounded after Salvadori came up with a block, but Jim Burr will let substitutes get in the game.
That play is correctly officiated right there, because there was a shot clock violation, and even though Carolina had gained the ball off their defensive boards.
And there was a violation. Why?
Well, because the ball did not hit the rim.
Correct. And that's why Jim Burr stopped play when the horn went off, even though Carolina had the ball and going the other way. High lob, Montross. Good catch of the ball. Hands it off to Lynch. Short jump shot is no good, and Montross went over Pauly's back. That is number 3 on Montross. He becomes the first Tar Heel to collect 3. It's the 6th-team foul on Carolina with 8:11 to play in the game, and the Tar Heels ahead 63-55.
I think we might have mischarted one earlier in the game. I believe that's Eric's 4th foul, but I could be wrong.
Well, we'll run a check on it, and it is indeed number 4. That is number 4 on Eric Montross. Scott, left side. Gets it to Jordan. Jordan moves across the top of the circle to the right. Looking inside, back out front it comes to Woodbury. Now to Walters as Montross continues to play with less than 8 minutes to go. Walters will give it in the corner to Woodbury. Double team to Walters. Phelps knocked down. No foul on the play. Whips a pass to Jordan. He's open for 3 as Sullivan runs at him, and he makes it. Adonis Jordan with his 4th-3. He is now 4 of 6 from three-point area. Here's Phelps on the drive. Lays it up left-handed at the other end. It's his first field goal of the game, 65-58. Jordan quickly the other way to Woodbury, right corner. He looks for Scott, drives the baseline, can't get through. Woodbury out front, caught in the double team. The trap to Walters, down low, stolen by Sullivan. Knocked it out of bounds off Pauly. It belongs to Carolina. Heads-up play by the Bogota, New Jersey junior.
And it was a heads-up play, too, not to let the ball hit him again because he was standing in bounds. It looked to me like standing in bounds after he'd thrown it off Pauly.
Third turnover of the half by Kansas, and right now we've got another break in the action. 7:16 to play in the ball game, and with timeout on the floor. Carolina 65, Kansas 58.
Carolina's biggest lead this half has been 9 points at 48-39. The lead has been as small as 3, and right now it stands at 65-58. Carolina 7:16 remaining in the game. The Tar Heels have got a couple of problems, big ones. Derek Phelps is still hurt, although he's playing, limping, apparently favoring his hip. Eric Montross is on the bench with 4 personal fouls, and there's still a lot of time remaining to be played. Kansas has turned up the defensive, the heat a little bit. They lead Carolina in the turnover second half. 7 turnovers for UNC, 3 for Kansas.
Salvadori just patted his teammate on the back of his number 14 jersey and told him the obvious. Derek, we need you down the stretch. Carolina will inbound the ball. Phelps will try to get in front court against Jordan. Gets it across the timeline now, well out on the right. You push it to Williams on the wing, Walters on him, bounced it to Phelps. Kansas has really picked up its defense now. Lynch, left wing to Williams, now it comes to Phelps. Phelps baseline, jump pass back out to Lynch, over on the left side to Williams. He faked the pass in the corner, will bring it back out in the midcourt area. Hands it off to Phelps, he watches his shot clock go down to 20. Now it goes to Lynch. Lynch against Scott in the midcourt area. George will come back to the right now, down the sideline, got it to Phelps. Phelps will give it to Salvadori inside, put it up off the glass, no good. Missed the shot, too hard with it. Pauly down with a rebound. Off to Woodbury. Woodbury driving front court, bounces it to Jordan. He shoots the 3, and it's good. My goodness. Adonis Jordan hits his 5th three-pointer of the day. He is 5 of 7. And the three-pointers just keep raining down. This is 2 guys doing what Van Exel did in just 1 half last Sunday, and these guys have been keeping it up for the entire game, and a midcourt foul's been called on Richard Scott. That should be his 4th.
And they've had defenders running at them, too, and that is a compliment. That's a defensive compliment that the Tar Heels will pay a three-point shooter, is to run at you, because it is a defensive gamble. If you fall for the shot fake, then you're of no use to your own defense because you're already by the play.
The guards are 9 of 14. Walters and Jordan in three-pointers, and the free throw is good by George Lynch. He is now 3 of 5 on the day. 2 misses in the first half. He's made all 3 in the second half. It's 66-61, and as Mick Mixon told you earlier, the Jayhawks just keep hanging around. Carolina shoots the next one, and it's good. So Lynch has now got 14, and all 4 of his second half points have come at the line. Williams is out, and Rodel is back in. 67-61. Montross on the bench with those 4 personals. Salvadori with a lot of playing time on the floor in the middle. He'll take Pauly as Carolina goes man-to-man on the possession by Kansas. In the corner to Woodbury. Reese chasing him in the midcourt area. Spins away. Tried to go right. Reese cut him off. Keeps the dribble alive to the baseline. Off it goes to Pauly. Takes the jump shot. No good. Fell out on the left. Rebounded by Salvadori. Off to Phelps. Grimacing as he pushes it front court. Phelps gets it over to Brian Reese. Reese looks inside to Rodel. Can't get it to him. Holds it behind his head. Then one dribble and then to Rodel. Lynch on the right side against Ritchie. Lynch will go down in the corner to Reese. Reese spins baseline behind the glass. Gave it to Phelps. Penetrating. Fakes. Tried to hand it to Salvadori, and he couldn't hold it. Out of there comes Walters on Carolina's 8th turnover. Walters down the left side against Rodel. Backed into the corner on the left. Now to Woodbury up the sideline on the wing. 5:25 to play. Jordan out front on the drive. Layup is no good. Tapped up. Salvadori with a rebound. Turns, looks for the outlet, gets it to Phelps, and he really slows it to a walk now.
The Tar Heels are switching on most screens now. That's to give Derek Phelps some help and to make sure he's not guarding Jordan or Walters primarily.
Rodel goes to Reese. Down baseline. Phelps with a reverse layup. It fell out. Phelps has the rebound. Loose ball on the floor. Recovered by Pauly. And Phelps is having trouble getting up. Gets to his feet now, coming front court. Woodbury in the right corner. Goes down low to Ritchie. Layup is good. Patrick Ritchie with his first field goal, and Kansas is back within 4. Carolina has led by as many as 9. Lynch with his teammate in the backcourt. to try to give him a little protection on the pick, and Phelps takes a timeout. He is hurting, and the Tar Heel bench takes a timeout. 4:36 remaining to be played in the ball game. Timeout on the floor. Carolina 67, Kansas 63.
Game get over. 67-63. Carolina leads by 4. 4:36 remaining, and while the Heels were huddling up, Mark Davis, a team trainer, was attending to Brian Reese, who apparently got poked in the eye or got something in his right eye, and Brian did not even participate in the team huddle. That's how much anguish he was in.
So the Tar Heels are definitely shorthanded. Derek Phelps is on the bench. He's got his head buried in a towel. 67-63. That Carolina timeout taken for his benefit to take him out of there. So the Tar Heels are shorthanded without their floor leader, the guy who makes them go both offensively and defensively. And somewhere the Tar Heels have got to find something to hold off the Jayhawks.
And Kansas is going to rest Rex Walters for a few moments for that key stretch run.
Scott Cherry's back at the point against Adonis Jordan. Working right side, will turn, come back to the middle. Got to have some help. Got it to George Lynch. Lynch is out front against Ritchie. Now to Rodel. Comes to Cherry down in the right corner. Tried to go to Montross, to Williams. Cross court, it goes to Lynch. Lynch goes to Scott Cherry. Cherry whip it back out front to Donald Williams. Now it comes to Rodel. Tar Heels will try to burn some time. And Rodel bounced it to Montross, and Ostertag hammered him on the play. And that's number 3 on Ostertag, and Montross will go to the line. That's a 19 foul on the Jayhawks. You know, sports play a big role in college living and at Granville Towers. Granville's athletic facilities include a full-court basketball court, swimming pool, and fully equipped Nautilus room. And, of course, when the Heels are in action, residents can watch on one of Granville's big-screen TVs. Montross ready on the first one, and it's short off the front of the rim. He is 0 for 3 in the second half at the free throw line. Another one coming. When you choose a place to live at Carolina, remember Granville Towers. Stay with Granville and your rent never increases. 67-63. Carolina nursing a 4-point lead and trying desperately now to hold on. Montross's next free throw is good. He now has 19 points in the game. 4:10 left to play as Jordan brings it across the timeline. Roy Williams down on his left knee in front of his bench watching his Jayhawks. Jordan out front to Woodbury. Now it comes to Ritchie. Ritchie gets it to Jordan. Scott Cherry's on him. Now it's back to Woodbury. Woodbury working left side, hands it off to Jordan. Jordan coming out front, running by Rodel. Cherry's there on the trap, gets it away to Ritchie. Ritchie down on the right side, hanging up off the glass, no good. Ostertag's dunk follow attempt, no good. Cherry with the rebound. He'll push it up the left sideline to Rodel. Rodel down low to Montross. Spins baseline up off the glass, no good. Knocked outside, recovered by Jordan. Jordan down the middle, knocked away from behind by Lynch. Rodel runs down the loose ball. What a play by George Lynch, and we get a whistle. And Ostertag was on the floor at the far end, and so John Clougherty stopped play. I had even looked away from him. I didn't even know he was down there, so Clougherty's whistle sounded.
When he went up to try to block that shot by Eric Montross, he might have caught a Montross elbow inadvertently in the kisser or maybe in the nose.
Well, he's going out of the ball game right now. And he'll be replaced by Eric Pauley. Derek Phelps is coming back in for Carolina. Well, he's reaching down, trying to get whatever it is he reaches and gets in situations like this. And believe me, I'm surprised there's any more left for him to reach for. He has just been remarkable this year, but he's back to try to help the Heels hold on. 3.5 minutes left to play. Works left side, goes down the sideline to Williams. Now push it out front to Sullivan. Quickly to Lynch. Lynch against Ritchie. Out front to Phelps. He'll give it now to Williams. Now goes to Sullivan. Sullivan working against Hancock. Puts it to the floor, to the middle, off to Lynch. Carolina wanting to burn some time here with 3:10 left to play. Carolina holding on to a 5-point lead, 68-63. Donald Williams in the midcourt areas. The shot clock's at 15. Roy Williams and assistant Kevin Stallings up yelling to the Jayhawks. Phelps on the right side. Works to the baseline. Tries to go all the way underneath, but it's stolen by Scott. Kansas's Hancock comes up with it. We get a whistle and a foul called on Carolina.
George Lynch.
George Lynch charged with his 3rd personal foul, Mick, all of which have come in the second half. 7th team foul on the Jayhawks, and that was Hancock. Took me a moment to pick him up because he's taken his goggles off here in the second half, and that's the point of identification that I look for. Jordan is out, and Rayford is in, and Walters will come back for Hancock at the next opportunity, but first, he's at the line to shoot free throws for the Jayhawks. Ostertag is back in for Kansas. Pauley will go out, and now Brian Reese is coming back. Well, he wanted to get back in. Now he will. They held him up for a moment. John Clougherty still holding the ball. He's not yet given it to Hancock. Sullivan is out.
Yeah, it's an old coaching tactic. If you think your ball club is a little weary, run those subs in stages. It disconcerts the free thrower, and it can also get your team a little bit more rest.
First free throw this half for the Jayhawks. Griffin George's Darren Hancock. A 65% free throw shooter, and he's perfect. Hancock with 5 points in the game. Roy Williams, when he was recruiting this young man, and you need to know how much he loves chocolate to know that he gave up sweets 45 days when he vowed to sign him. Finally went back to the candy box when he did sign. Got them both. So, 6 points now for Hancock. He goes out, and Rex Walters is in. It's a 3-point ball game with 2:48 to play.
And Kansas is setting up for three-quarter court pressure.
Lynch will inbound. He'll get it into Phelps. Rayford will pick him up defensively. Bear with me, I'll get it out. Jump pass to Williams. He shoots the three. Good! What a big three by Donald Williams. That is his 5th of the ball game. Woodbury to the other baseline. 71-65 against Brian Reese. Reese goes down to Walters. Walters left side, stolen by Williams. Tried to go to Ritchie with it. And Williams got in the way. 2 big plays by the Garner sophomore. Dean Smith tells the Tar Heels to take it easy. Phelps against Rayford. Spinning away, right side. Feeds it off to Reese, back out front to Williams. Phelps says, just hold it out there, Donald, and he puts it on the floor now against Rex Walters. Clock is down to 2:05. Shot clock is at 26 seconds. George Lynch against Ritchie. Well out on the right. Now Lynch down the sideline on the right. Goes cross court to Brian Reese. In the corner to Williams. Down low to Montross. He'll give it to the breaking Reese. Lost the ball, and Ostertag comes up with it for Kansas with 1:50 to play. 10 turnovers in this half for Carolina. 16 for the game. Ball lost over the end line by Walters. Rex Walters falling down, lost control of the dribble. It went out of bounds with 1:43 to play, and that is Kansas's 16th turnover of the game, 7 in the second half, and Kansas asked for its first timeout. So with timeout on the floor, 1:43 to play, the score, Carolina 71, Kansas 65.
All right, here's where the situation stands. Both teams are in the bonus. Timeouts remaining are 2 each. The possession arrow favors Carolina, and the Tar Heels have the ball and a 6-point lead with 1:43 to play. Now, what Carolina will try to do is to control that ball in a calm, efficient, organized way while looking for a good shot. They won't be in any hurry, yet they will take a good shot if one becomes available to them. Now, Kansas, they've got time remaining. It's only a 2-possession game, but they've got to start thinking about who they might want to foul if need be. And to get you caught up on what the Jayhawks have done in this game from 3-point range, it has turned into a battle between their backcourt and Carolina's entire team. 10 of 18 from 3-point range.
Lynch inbounds the ball to Derek Phelps. We want to give you some unbelievably hot shooting stats. 3-point. Lynch down the sideline to Reese on the left. On the wing, he pushes it back out front to Lynch. Lynch working now against Hancock, who's back in the lineup. Lynch in the midcourt area. Goes to Donald Williams. Woodbury moving out on him, well out on the left. Williams spins away, now goes down the left side. Moving down left of the lane, whistle, and a foul is on Woodbury. That's number 4. Steve Woodbury, that's his first personal of the second half. 10th team foul, which means Donald Williams will shoot 2. And on those 3-point stats, Mick, Kansas in the second half, 5 of 7 for the game, 10 of 18. Now the hot hand in the second half has been Adonis Jordan. He is 4 of 4 from 3-point area, while Rex Walters, who carried Kansas in the first half, is 1 of 3 in the second half. So that might indicate that the Jayhawks will be looking for Adonis Jordan. Donald Williams at the free throw line, and it's good.
Yeah, that was not a foul that Kansas planned, I don't think. That was not a play that was called from the sideline at all, because you do not want to foul DW.
22 points for Donald Williams, make it 23. 73 to 65. It is an 8-point Carolina lead with 1:23 to go as Riddle replaces Williams for defensive purposes. Hawley underhands the ball into Jordan. Jordan coming front court against Derek Phelps. Phelps looking right in on him. Walters on the left side. Walters against Riddle. Down the left side to the baseline, leaning in. Shots up, no good. Lynch with the rebound. Gets the outlet to Derek Phelps. George Lynch's 10th rebound of the game.
They have to foul now.
That will be his 16th double-double, and the ball gets knocked away by Woodbury out of bounds. Carolina's ball with 1:03 to play and an 8-point lead.
Yeah, and Kansas is in a situation now, just to repeat, where they have they cannot allow Carolina to run that clock. They have to try to steal the inbounds pass if possible, and then if Carolina successfully inbounds the ball and they're not in peril offensively, foul someone.
Carolina would prefer, as you know, on a foul shooting situation, to have that ball in Williams and Phelps' hands.
And being the trigger man represents a good opportunity to get the ball back, because Donald can throw the inbounds pass and then somebody can screen for him and he can step inbounds and receive the ball back quickly, hoping that a foul will come.
Well, they're checking now with the official score on the players reporting into the game.
Okay, thank you.
So everybody's reported now, and Carolina will have the ball out of bounds as Williams will make the inbounds play. 63 seconds left. Williams gets it in the backcourt to Phelps, which he could do. Phelps breaks his dribble, now goes to Williams. Williams waiting on the double team. Jump pass back to Phelps. Phelps turning, Jordan chasing him along with Hancock. Phelps in trouble, looping it to Reese on the sideline. He hands it off to Williams with 50 seconds left to play. Williams double team goes to Montross, and he gets knocked down by Scott. Montross hits the deck, and the foul on Scott is his 5th. He has just fouled out of his 5th game of the year, and he'll leave with 8 points, well below his 10.7 average. And Scott is out of the game, 3 of 5 shooting. Carolina kept him from getting many looks at the basket. Montross to the line. Now he has made 3 free throws on the day, but he has missed 3. So he's 3 of 6. And coming into the game, he had made 34 of his last 44 free throws. 8-point Carolina lead, 44 seconds remaining.
Kansas did not want to foul either Phelps or Williams, so they were trying to get the ball into the hands of some other player, and while they were waiting and defending, precious seconds ticked off of the clock.
One note, with Scott leaving with only 8, Kansas is unbeaten when he scores 11 points or more. Montross's free throw is good, and it's 74-65. 22 points for Eric Montross.
And one more free throw would just about do it, because it would make it a 4-possession game.
Eric Montross eyes the front of the rim, ready on his next one, and that's good. At 75-65, that matches Carolina's biggest lead of the game with 44 seconds left, and it looks like we'll have to go once more with feeling Monday night at 8:30.
Yes, indeedy duty.
Across the timeline is Jordan against Phelps. On the drive, through the lane, block, Salvadori. Caught by Phelps. Phelps double team, backcourt, got it to Sullivan. Sullivan will give it right back to Phelps. 30 seconds remaining to be played. Phelps double teamed and fouled in the backcourt. Foul has been charged to Adonis Jordan. That will be his first. Now, let me tell you what Roy Williams has said about his Jayhawks. We play them one game at a time. This could be our last game, but we're going to go out there and give it the best that we have got. And if it is our last game, then we will know we have given it our best effort. But if we've got more points than they've got, we'll play the next time they tell us to play. Well, it looks like the next time will be December 1st for Kansas.
It's looking that way, and
Phelps at the line, free throw, good.
It's a derivative of the old take it one game at a time and don't look ahead approach, which is it's basic, but it is effective.
It is an overused expression in sports, but what a courageous effort today by Derek Phelps. Guy couldn't get the bounce on the next one, missed it. Richie down with a rebound, or Paulie rather. Got it to Jordan with 25 seconds left. Tar Heels will not want to foul. Here's Walters for 3, and you knew he'd make it, and Kansas takes a timeout. Timeout on the floor as Walters carries his 5th three-pointer of the day. 19 seconds remaining, the score. Carolina 79, Kansas 68.
The score is 76-68. Going into that, or after that Rex Walters bomb, the scoreboard operator credited the points accidentally to Carolina. They made the score 79-65 Carolina, and it took him a moment to make it 79-68 and then 76-68, which is the correct score. Carolina ball with an 8-point lead.
In the first half, that error was made in favor of the Jayhawks, and it had to be corrected. George Lynch will inbound for the Tar Heels. Ted Valentine will hand him the ball with 19 seconds remaining. It's 76-68, and Carolina will play either Kentucky or Michigan on Monday night for the national championship, and we'll be here to call it for you at 8:30 on this Tar Heel Sports Network station. Inbounded to Phelps, and we talk in terms of North Carolina time, Eastern time when we say that. And don't forget, daylight saving time begins on Sunday. And we get a whistle and a foul called on Kansas, and Donald Williams will go to the line. Patrick Ritchie committed the personal foul. Donald Williams with 23 points. Eric Montross with 21. George Lynch with 14. But that doesn't begin to tell the story of people who contributed, like Derek Phelps with only 3 points. Kevin Salvadori with only 6 all in the first half. And how about the relief work by one Scott Cherry? 19 points each for the two Kansas guards. Williams' free throw is good, 77-68. Well, you wondered coming in, and he didn't let the Tar Heels have it, but you wondered coming in if the teacher could even the score with the pupil after losing in Indianapolis 2 years ago by 6 points, 79-73, and Dean Smith didn't get to see the last few seconds of that one. He is clearing the bench now. Larry Davis, Ed Geth, Travis Stevenson. And let me tell you what this means to a guy who was a reserve and got to play in one national championship game for Kansas. Some of those box scores omitted his name, but he played 29 seconds in that game, and it will forever be on the box scores that these guys got into a national semifinal game. Adonis Jordan, his career is over. The senior from Reseda, California, third in assists and steals at Kansas leaves. And here's Rex Walter. They're both seniors. They are leaving, and this has been the finest two-man shooting effort from long range that these tired old eyes have seen in a long time.
Together they were 10 of 16 from three-point range, and there have been a lot of classy things happening. That's 62.5%, by the way.
Donald Williams' free throw is good. It is 78-68. And talk about big plays. How about that three by Donald Williams and then the steal by Donald Williams? Williams made both his free throws, so he's got 25. The clock is running down. Kansas with Gurley to Woodbury. Ball getting away. Gurley recovered, fires a long-range three that's no good. There goes the clock and the horn. The game is over. The handshake at midcourt between Dean Smith and Roy Williams, and they linger for a few seconds to speak to each other. And I know what the Kansas head coach was telling the Tar Heel coach. Coach, go get him Monday night. Final score, the Tar Heels wind up winning and getting into the national championship game under Dean Smith for a 5th time against either Kentucky or Michigan on Monday night, as the Tar Heels wind up winning it by 10.
Ice cold, I know how to refresh them. Cool, baby, you make a good impression.
All right, we're with Dean Smith and Eric Montross. Congratulations. Monday night in the championship game. Eric, you had 23 points. Looked like a real battle inside today.
It was a battle. It was a lot of fun. I think it's one of the contests you look forward to, especially in the Final Four.
How about the time where George Lynch showed some senior leadership, and then later he came over and put his arm around you? Tell us about that.
Well, I just think that, he didn't want to be going home, and this is his last time around, and I had the opportunity to make a flick on a play, and he thought I should have made it, and I was worrying about another foul. So we're just very close, and, it's good to have him out there.
What did he come back and tell you?
He said, we're together. We're going to win this thing.
All right, Dean.
Coach, one of the things I thought today, we talked about you would have some power in the blocks, and they did very well. They would have some great perimeter shooting with their backcourt. It looked like the difference, however, today, Donald Williams came in and did another superior job with his perimeter shooting.
Donald played very well, but Billy, Jordan made his shots, Walters made his shots. They had that, but Ostertag is pretty big too. But we played about as well as we could play until we had a few injuries there. And I think Kansas just a marvelous team. Roy had them primed, and we're so grateful to be playing Monday night.
How about Derek Phelps? We saw how he grimaced. He really took some shots down inside. Then he hit the floor. That became his opponent. How does he feel right now?
He's a very sore young man, but he'll make it somehow. He'll be playing Monday night.
Great.
Eric, what are you going to be doing now for the rest of the evening? You're going to be watching this game?
Watching this game, relaxing, and getting prepared for Monday night. It's going to be a great one.
All right, we enjoyed watching you. We'll see you Monday night. Eric Montross of North Carolina into the title game. They'll face the winner of Michigan, Kentucky coming up next.
Ever since the Tar Heels first played this year, when they played their very first ball game, and we broadcast it for you over this station, there seemed to be something unique about this basketball team. Unique in how well they communicated and how well they played defensively, how smoothly they switched on screens, and how tenaciously they rebounded. As we got to know this bunch better, we learned of remarkable chemistry between the players. Black athletes getting along with white, seniors with freshmen, and rich with poor. The chemistry continued then through the middle part of the season. And then Donald Williams, after a shooting slump, began to find his stroke again. Suddenly, Brian Reese got fit, and he began giving Carolina important minutes at critical times. The Tar Heels made excellent decisions on the break, and all year long, George Lynch and Eric Montross have continued to get better. The baton with which this team has been conducted rests in the hands of Dean Smith. But when the game starts, he passes it to Derek Phelps, Carolina's coach on the floor. This team has got one game left to play, and it'll be Monday night for the national championship. And no matter what happens, this team will be remembered for showing a lot of heart and a lot of those things that Carolina basketball has come to embody over the last 3 decades and change. The final score as the Tar Heels down spirited Kansas 78-68, and Michigan and Kentucky will meet in just a few minutes to decide who plays Carolina for it all. For the game, Carolina shoots 54% and Kansas shoots 44%. We said that the three-point shooting of KU would be a key. Felt like they would need it to win. They got plenty of it, but it was not enough. Kansas shoots unofficially 11 of 20 from three-point range. That is 55%. 7 of 7 from the foul line, 100%. But the Heels, by virtue of their inside-oriented game, got on the line 10 more times, and they made 17 more free throws. Actually, they got on the line more than 10 more times. They got on the line 14 more times, and they made 10 more free throws. So the Tar Heels shoot 17 of 24 from the foul line, 71%. Turnovers even out at 16 apiece. So Carolina, with the 78-68 win, moves on to the national championship game. And how about that big three by Donald Williams when it was 71-65, or check it, when it was 68-65, I should say. And about 2 minutes remaining in the game, and Donald Williams, without hesitation, as Carolina got it front court, rose into the air, stroked that three. It hit the rim, kind of reached out and grabbed it, slung it in, and the Tar Heels had a 6-point lead at that point, and the lead would never be 6 again. Carolina would continue to build on it, winning by 10.
All of a sudden, all these people started streaming out into the streets. At first, the police officers were trying to keep them off the street, put them back on the sidewalk, but that didn't last very long. There's a lot of hugging going on, screaming, as you can hear. Everyone having a great time. Nick, if you want to swing it around and show down to the end of Franklin Street down toward Columbia Street, there's a lot of people trying to congregate down there. I would guess that there are about 1,000 people down there right now, and there will be more. And we will bring you more, and the latest coming up in a little bit. Back to you.
All right. My suspicions are that it will be by the time the evening comes to a close. I think a lot of people are waiting to flood the street until they find out who Carolina's going to be playing. It's hard to leave your seat and begin reveling in national semifinal victory merriment when you still have a game as compelling visually as Kansas, or rather as Kentucky and Michigan still to come. We have Mike Waddell, who's been manning our NCAA tournament scoreboard the entire tournament, and Mike has been in touch with some of the people up on Franklin Street. And Mike, what do you hear from the downtown connection?
Right now, there are about 200 to 300 people downtown, Mick, and also they are trying to spill out from Carmichael Auditorium, where about 4,000 people came in and were paying witness to the game on a big screen television. So as those fans move from Carmichael to downtown, you can expect that a big party is about to break loose.
All right, Mike, thanks. And we'll have the individual scoring stats here for you now as the Tar Heels got 7 of 11 field goal shooting from Donald Williams, 25 points. Eric Montross had 4 rebounds. Is that right? 4 rebounds for Eric Montross. 9 of 14 from the floor, 23 points. He shot 5 of 8 from three-point range. George Lynch with 14. Reese with 7, including 6 assists and 3 turnovers. Salvadori with 6 total points. And his rebounds and his shot-altering ability was key. Derek Phelps, 5 rebounds, 3 points, 6 assists, and 4 turnovers. Rex Walters was high. Rex and Adonis were high for KU with 19 apiece. Scott with 8, Hancock with 6, Pauly with 5, Woodbury 4, Gurley with 3, Ostertag with 2, and Ritchie with 2. Sabrina Smith is online now live from Franklin Street for an update on what the scene looks like. Sabrina, what can you tell us about downtown Chapel Hill?
Well, Nick, I heard you just say that you thought a party was about to break out. It's already broken out. There's about 1,000 people in the middle of the street. There's a bonfire, a very large bonfire, larger than last week's, already flaming. The trees are covered in toilet paper already. And driving down here, we saw people coming down all the streets with toilet paper and cans of drinks, and they're ready to go. Let's just say that.
Sabrina, where are you exactly right now?
I am standing right in the middle of Franklin Street in front of the NC&D Plaza, surrounded by a bunch of people with people on their shoulders, actually. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle here.
Hold your microphone into the crowd for a moment. Let's see if we can hear what's going on.
You got it.
That is live from Franklin Street, and we better not stay with it too long lest this broadcast receive another rating other than PG or just G. Downtown Franklin Street beginning to heat up as Carolina wins at 78-68 against the Kansas Jayhawks. Woody Durham has disappeared into this cavernous facility somewhere. I have no idea where he is, but I think Woody can hear me. Woody, how long before Kansas and Carolina break the locker rooms and open things up?
Nick, we're still standing outside the Carolina dressing room. George Lynch, Eric Montross, and Donald Williams. Donald's been added to the interview room list. We'll be going there shortly. Of course, we're waiting to pick up the initial comments and his brief reaction by Kansas coach Roy Williams to this 10-point loss. But we're still waiting to get in the dressing room because one of the first things we want to check on is Derek Phelps, and also have a chance to get the reaction of some people like a Kevin Salvadori, who played a big role in this game, and also maybe a word or two from Scott Cherry. But there is a throng of people waiting outside the dressing room, so we'll do the best we can, because then we don't want to miss the media room comments of Coach Smith and the 3 players.
All right, Woody, that sounds good. In fact, the media room sounds like it's starting to become a little bit more active right now as Kansas will come in with Richard Scott and Eric Pauly, and of course Roy Williams, and the Tar Heels will follow with Coach Dean Smith, and then George Lynch, Eric Montross, and as Woody said, they're going to add Donald Williams to that list. I think they're on their way into the media room, and so let's go to Woody Durham to moderate things.
Okay, we're just working our way into the media room, and Sam Rogers is telling me that Henrik Rodel is our assist era leader, 6'1", and we'll go quickly here to a guy who saw a lot of minutes today. Kevin, boy, what the bench really had to deliver today in a lot of ways, including yourself.
Well, I think so.
Go ahead and start.
Hard-fought game. We knew that was going to come in.
We do congratulate North Carolina, their staff, and their players. I thought that they played very well, but that's a decision that Coach Smith and their staff will make, I'm sure. But to me, I thought they played well, and I thought our youngsters played well and tried extremely hard. We got it to 3 late in the game, and Donald Williams made a big 3-pointer for them. And then we came down and had 3 straight possessions where we either turned it over or took a shot a little quicker than I wanted us to take. But that's the most criticism that you're going to get from me about our team. In some ways, I said a couple of times this year that it was the most difficult year I've had in coaching because of the outside pressures on this team and how inadequate I felt trying to help them. But along with that, in some ways, it's probably as satisfying year as I've ever had because of all of those problems that we were still here playing in New Orleans. There were 298 teams that started on November 1st with this as a goal in mind, and we were one of those, and I thought it was a legitimate goal, and these kids realized that goal with Adonis Jordan and Eric Pauly and Rex Walters. We had 3 kids who, as senior leaders, did a great job of making me look like a halfway competent coach and of representing our university the way it should be done. We are going to keep trying. we're going to keep knocking on this door, and one day we're going to knock the sucker down. Right now, Dean Smith feels better than I do, and one of the coaches in the second game will feel better than I do, but no other coach in America can be as proud of their kids as I am ours. It's a tough day, and that's in some ways what makes this event as great as it is, because kids and coaches and people put their entire body and soul into it. And I think these kids did, and I think our staff did. We came up a little short, but like I say, we're going to keep trying. And there'll be questions about how does it feel losing to North Carolina. It still feels crappy. At the same time, I told the kids I love them in the locker room. And the coaches on that other staff, I feel the same way about them. And I'll be pulling like the Dickens for North Carolina on Monday night. And if that upsets anybody from Kentucky or Michigan, then you don't understand Roy Williams. I'm happy to be a college basketball coach. And I'm happy to work with these young men. That's it.
Okay, we'll take questions for the players before we take any more questions from Coach Williams.
All right,
here
while they're talking to the Kansas players, and you could hear the emotion, I know, in the voice of Roy Williams, let's go to Woody Durham, who has collared some Carolina players. Woody?
We're trying to put a microphone up along with the media that's really huddled in front of Derek Phelps.
What lies ahead for you guys? This is a great opportunity for us, I guess. You know, we worked hard all season long to get to this point, and, you know, we're glad to be here. And this is our last game, and I hope we make the best of it.
Derek, about the way your inside game dominated that.
Eric and George, they've been doing a great job all season long, I guess. You know, that's our main factor, to get it down low to Eric and George. And, you know, they produce for us. They get those easy layups, the little hook shots, you know, the best quality shot. You know, we need to get some points out there.
Derek, we got to you a little late, and Mark Davis is telling me this is a completely different injury. It's between the hip and the tailbone.
Exactly. I guess, you know, wherever I got pads at, you know, I get hurt where it's between the pads or it's outside the pad. And, you know, it's hard to say why that happens to me, but, you know, it's just an injury that happened.
Exactly when did it happen?
When I got called for a traveling call, like early in the second half, and when I fell on the floor, it did bother me a little bit. But I guess, you know, once I started running down the floor, it really started to kick in.
Was there any time you thought you might be going out for good and you might not be able to come back?
Not at all. I guess, you know, I just had to sit down and rest and, you know, and get it calmed down a little bit. I knew I wasn't going to be out the game.
Okay, you got an opportunity now to play for the national championship. What does that mean?
It's a great feeling. I guess, you know, we worked hard all year long for this point, and, you know, I think we accomplished a lot of goals this season, and this is one of our goals, and we're just happy to be here, and we're going to try to make the best of it.
Okay, that's Derek Phelps in the Carolina dressing room, and we're going to try to work our way to the media room as soon as Roy Williams and the Jayhawks get through with their very emotional news conference, particularly for Roy Williams on this last game of the season for his Jayhawks. And Mick, we'll try to pick up the comments of Coach Smith, George Lynch, Eric Montross, and Donald Williams.
When they get to the media room, of course, which should not be in too long a period of time. The KU players still have a few more questions to answer in the media room, so we're going to take a break here on the Tar Heel Sports Network and the Happy Locker Room scoreboard tonight, but we will be back, and we want you to come back with us so that you can hear from Dean Smith, George Lynch, Eric Montross, and Donald Williams. With the final score in the national semifinals tonight, Carolina 78, Kansas 68.
Up and add life to any room with Live and Easy Furniture and Accessories, light years ahead of typical home furnishings. Innovative designs and halogen lighting and furnishings for work or home. Live and Easy also offers a wide selection of quality hardwood convertible futon frames and premium handmade futons with hundreds of fabric options and tastefully tailored upholstery.
Living easy for you.
It's not your ordinary furniture store. Live and Easy Furniture and Accessories, Rams Plaza,
The Final
Chapel
Four.
Hill.
Congratulations, Tar Heel players and coaches. Teamwork pays off. And the Hendrick team at Performance and Saturn of Chapel Hill is pleased to offer Triangle residents the best automobile sales and service team in the area. From Chevys and Geos to Acuras, Subarus, BMWs, Porsches, and Saturns, we're #1 in Eastern North Carolina because we put our customers first. Performance and Saturn of Chapel Hill, growing one satisfied customer at a time. On 15501 between Duke and Carolina.
Hello.
Mr. Frump.
Yes.
Ed Frump.
Yes, who is this?
I know the game's on, but you really need a cellular phone.
They're too expensive. Who is this?
That's why I'm calling you, Ed. Right now, Centel Cellular at Rams Plaza in Chapel Hill has the new Motorola MicroTac portable phone for only $9.95 a month.
$9.95 a month?
Yep.
For a Motorola MicroTac? Who is this?
At Centel Cellular, Rams Plaza, Chapel Hill. That's a 33% savings. Mention this ad and get an additional gift.
That's great, Mr.
Oops, sorry, game's on. Gotta go. Bye.
Centel Cellular, Rams Plaza, Chapel Hill. Call 933-1442.
The station that classic rock built.
Barracuda.
The station, WZZU. The frequency, 93.9.
All right, Carolina 78 and Kansas 68. And the Tar Heels out-rebound their foe 35-24. Assists and turnovers about even. And the Kansas Jayhawks are through in the media room, and that means that the Tar Heels will follow. And we've got Woody Durham back there and mic'd live. Woody, what can you see from where you are now?
Well, Donald and Eric Croft and George Lynch have the media room, and they're sitting down, and the moderator will be the NCAA office. Getting the plaque of each of the players as well as his coach. Here's Alfred White.
Coach Smith, could you start things off by giving some general comments about your team?
I was very pleased with our play with very few exceptions. I think we missed the boat a couple of times from the 7-minute mark to 5 at the offensive end, and yet hung on to win. I was impressed with our ability to get it into Eric, and you have to give credit to Derek Phelps and to Brian Reese. They probably each had quite a few assists, but also we needed Donald Williams' outside shooting, and he certainly came through. He was really hot. Jordan and Walters were 10 for 16, I heard, and I thought it was better than that. It seemed like every time they shot, they went in. The key, I thought, defensively for us, our big people did a great defensive job on their big people. I know Paulie got a lot of rebounds, but they didn't get it in easily, and Ostertag is 7'2", and he has that 9'6". Eric's not even 9'6", reaching height, so... Kansas just well prepared. Roy does a tremendous job. I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of our team. I think our team did a tremendous job today.
Okay, let's ask our players questions. We have one back here in the rear of the room.
Donald, your last three-point field goal came, I think, 9 seconds after Kansas scored. That may seem quick given what people think about Carolina's offense being patient, but is that within the context of what you guys want to do, shoot that quickly in that situation?
Well, at the time, I think Kansas was trapping Derek in the backcourt, and my man left me. And when Derek threw the lob pass, usually in that situation, coach encouraged me to take that shot because that's a great shot because we have great rebounding position. So at that time, that's what I was thinking.
Here in the front row.
This is a question for Eric. At the beginning of the season, did you see Donald as being able to have the kind of poise that he's shown in the tournament and making all these clutch shots?
Well, everyone on the team knew that Donald was a tremendous shooter. He came in as a freshman in the summer before his freshman year, and it just astonished us with his three-point shooting. And I think that the amount that he's come through in the clutch for us and been very mature about it, I think he's developed more than just a sophomore's age may say.
Okay, over here to the left in the front.
This is for any of the players. If they could talk about your defensive execution down the stretch, forcing a couple of turnovers on Kansas.
Well, I think that we were really playing pretty much a matchup, and we were just trying to keep Kansas from shooting the threes, and I think it kind of bogged them a little bit. We were switching on the exchanges, and we did a great job of contesting each shot, and I don't think they were prepared for the type of defense that we were going to play on.
Get back over here.
This is for Eric down front. If you could just talk about your matchup with Ostertag. I'm sure you're used to getting pounded like that, but not by someone with your same size.
Well, first of all, I think that Greg's going to be a tremendous player, and I think that he's done an awful lot, and then he does a lot for their team defensively. Obviously, he's a big body inside, and he did bang a lot, but that's part of the game. That's something that we enjoy going up against, and it was good to see they didn't back down at all because so much had been made up of our size and all that. So, I think he's going to be very good.
Let's go to the back of the room on the left.
Eric and George, would you address this question, please? It seemed like you tried to establish the inside game from the get-go. I think 10 or 14 of your first points came from the inside. Was this a conscious effort on your part to try and make it an inside game, or did it just happen that way?
I think that our offense is basically go inside and hopefully open the outside shot up. Donald was doing a great job of hitting his shots. Brian Reese was penetrating, and Derek was penetrating also to open things up. And we got good looks at the basket, and our main go-to guys, Eric Montross on the side and inside, and he did a great job of taking it to the basket and scoring. So there was no reason to go to any other option.
Let's go to the second row here.
Eric, considering the quality of the opposition and the importance of the game, have you had a performance that you felt better about than the one today?
I think it's hard to rate performances. I think that today's game, I did feel fairly good about, but there were still a lot of shots that I thought should have gone in. But I think there are obviously better things on defense that I can do and hitting the boards harder. But I think that overall, I just have to give credit to the guys who got me the ball and the rest of the team who put me in that position to be able to score and to be able to do some things on defense this evening.
Let's go over here to the front.
Eric, have you had a game where you've been bounced around any more than maybe you were today? It seems like you were either getting up or shaking off something or somebody.
Well, I think when I think of physical games, I think of Wake Forest at Wake. We played them, and they were in a really zone that just hung back on us and held us and pushed us through everywhere we went. So I think that this was definitely a physical game, but I wouldn't say it was the most physical.
Let's go to this question right here, and then we'll go over here.
Yes, Coach Smith, what were you thinking when you saw Donald take the shots?
Excuse me, let's take care of all our players' questions, and then we'll excuse them.
Okay, well, let me ask. George, you said that you don't think that they were prepared for your defense. You mean the intensity of the defense, or were you doing something differently?
Well, I think we, near the end, we kind of laid off a little bit, didn't really let them penetrate. We played the three-point shots, and anytime they were trying to penetrate, we had Kevin Salvador inside to keep him from penetrating, and I think that kind of shook him up a little bit.
Okay, let's go back here in the rear.
First the players and then coach at some point comment on the fact that you've got a chance to win a national championship now. Your thoughts on that one-game season?
Well, it's a great feeling. It's one of the goals that we set during the year to play for a national championship. Now we're here, and we got to do the best possible to make the opportunity a good one for us. And I think that the coaching staff has done a great job of preparing us, for this final game. And it's what every team is prepared for at the beginning of the year. And I think that to be one of the last two teams that playing in April, it's a great feeling for us.
Okay, let's take three more questions for the players. First one's back here to the left, left.
Donald, given your success in the East Regional, I wonder if you're looking for it more late in the ball game now, and particularly today. You were awful willing to put that three up. Did the East Regional give you a lot of confidence to do that?
Well, I think I had like a whole season under my belt, and the tournament, coming into the tournament, I think I was feeling comfortable and relaxed out there, and I think the East Regional did help my confidence, and I think the coaching staff and the teammates also help my confidence when I go out there on the floor, because they encourage me to shoot the ball and want me to shoot when I'm open and have a good shot. So I think it was a combination of both.
Let's go right over here, and then we'll come over here.
Donald, a question for once not about your offense, but after you made the three to make it 71-65 with about 2:48 to play, what about then the steal, or maybe the two steals defensively right after that? What was happening, and what were you anticipating?
Well, I think once I was just getting off the ball, because they were swinging the ball and I was getting off, and the ball just happened to, I seen the ball coming and it just happened to be right there for me. So I think I was just trying to play our team defense, and the ball happened just to be right there for the steal.
Okay, our last question for the players over here.
I'm waiting for Coach Smith.
Okay. Last question for the players.
Donald, could you talk about what it was like to not be able to play very much last year when you had such a great high school career?
Well, it's just I knew coming into this program, looking at the players at my position that I have a tough time getting playing time. But I think during the recruitment, they went over that. They do not promise you anything, and they want you to come in and really work. And I told you last year, I just wanted to come in and work hard and keep improving. And I think this year is paying off for me.
Okay, we're going to excuse the players back to their dressing room and go ahead and take questions for Coach Smith.
Get your rest, gang.
First question for Coach Smith will be in the right-hand side of the room in the back, microphone 3.
Coach Smith, you won a national championship here. Your thoughts on going for another one now Monday night, please?
Well, of course, I don't dwell in the past. I'm very pleased for this year's team. It was not the goal to play in the national championship game. As George said, play. Our goal was to win the national championship as it is each year. So I'm excited for this team as I can be. I think certainly we have a chance. There's only 2 left. And regardless of whom we play, I think we'll be ready to play. I hope Derek Phelps is rested. I hope Brian Reese, who had a eye closed, he couldn't see out of that eye, so he's set for a while. But that's the nice thing about the new NCAA format. It's not new to you guys, but a long time ago we used to play Friday and Saturday. And that day off really does wonders, despite it being a nice, friendly media day.
Okay, let's go over here to the left.
Coach Smith, what exactly is Derek Phelps' status for Monday night?
I have no idea. He was hurting, and I thought Scott Cherry gave us a lift a couple of times. He threw the ball away, and Salvador was open, but other than that, he gave us a lift. But we need Derek, and I think he'll be available.
Okay, up here on the front row.
Dean, in the first half, Walters had a lot of open shots, but Jordan was pretty well under control. In the second half, you took Walters out of the game, but there was Jordan. What was going on defensively, too?
You might have noticed Phelps was assigned to Jordan to begin with, and then we've switched Phelps to Walters, and then Jordan went crazy. And it wasn't all Donald's fault. He takes the other one. And because we switch enough, it's a team defense. But they were, we had to, at halftime, we made an asterisk by Walter's name. That means he cannot get a good look at it. I don't care who, somebody run at him, and Eric ran at him once when he was open. But they're a difficult team to play because they have a good balance of inside and outside.
Right here on the front row.
Dean, just to cut to the obvious question about Roy, what can you say to him after a game? How concerned are you with consoling him?
Well, I am concerned. He's such a competitor, and he cares so much for Adonis, who was his first recruit and stuck by his guns, and it's an emotional moment for him. We talked before the game. Well, I shouldn't even say that, but his mother died in the last year, and she could be here in '91 in Indianapolis, and how happy she was. And my dad and mom made it here in '82, and they weren't spring chickens. They were like '85 and '84 and made it on their own. They had good genes.
Let's go over here, and then we'll go over here.
Yeah. Coach Smith, you got a pretty impressive performance from Salvador. Could you comment on that?
I think we got an impressive performance from so many players, and Kevin Salvadori was obviously one of them. His shot blocking ability showed. He came up with some big rebounds, and we alternated Kevin as we have. And it's not fair to Matt Winstrom, who on his own is an excellent player, but we've really let Salvadori, Lynch, and Montross share. Those three share 2 positions, much the same as Coach Williams does. But I thought he played. He's active, made some shots, and they got him the ball. As talking about other players, you're talking about Donald. We had to stop on one timeout. He took 2 quick shots that he shouldn't have taken in the first 5 minutes of the game. First one was great, but then the next 2, and we talked, and it just showed he was so confident, but he had to be patient wait for the shot, which he did at that point.
Okay, we got 3 questions over here and 1 on the front row.
Coach, you could just talk about Eric's development.
Well, Eric Montross has gotten a great deal better. I didn't realize how much better until I got the 91 Kansas tape out. I mean, it looked like a young Colt out there. But he's stronger. He's, of course, has his left and his right hook, jump hooks, which we began working on when he got there. He had a good high school coaching in Jack Kiefer, so he was fundamentally sound. But he's improved defensively so much this year, starting with against Lawrence Funderburk at Ohio State. He got the idea of what we wanted, and he really has played. He played very well defensively today, as did George Lynch. And when you write the story about North Carolina, you always have to list the word George Lynch. He means so much to this team.
Dean, down here.
Hey, Bob.
Hello. Yeah. Was Phelps hurt during the game? I mean, it looked like you were having to juggle him in and out and do a lot of things as a result of it. I know he went down on that one he was called for traveling on. Was he hurt prior to that?
I'm not sure. He's a tough guy, but I think that tailbone could have really been hurt on a charge he drew. You'd have to ask him. I'm sure there's somebody in there, but he had to come out, and then he did. He wanted to play so badly, and I don't know. He looked a little faster. He went through and laid it up there. Maybe he was trying to make Jordan think he wasn't well, but he went through and laid it up.
Regarding Montross, I'm sorry, I'll spell it right, but
Mr. Hoot. I mean Hurt.
Thank you.
We're old friends. He wrote for me when I played in junior high. He was the writer.
I had that 29 seconds.
That's not true. Yeah.
What I wanted to ask about is Eric had 2 fouls early, and you kept him out for quite an extended period of time. I know you don't look at the stats, so I'll tell you it was 12 minutes he played in the first half. Was that done by design? Or
yes, we tried to get, we got to the 4-minute mark or 5-minute mark, and when I took him out for the last time, and Phelps had 2. The 2 that we don't want to get started in early foul trouble each had 2. And so Phelps set out the last, 4 minutes. I put him in for the last play, but then of the half. But we try to do that on key people.
Okay, right here on front row.
One, exactly what is wrong with Derek? Was it the tailbone, or did he re-injure something else?
I haven't talked to Derek. They run me to the television, and Mark says I don't think he can go, so you have to go talk to them.
The thing I really wanted to ask, though, was what George said about y'all pounding it inside being just, it was working, so you stay with it. Is that about right? Or
well, you know, we do it every game. We start out, that's our goal. That's nothing new. That's been from day one. And we will take outside shots, but that's our first look is inside. And some of them mentioned about Donald shooting that shot. They were in what we call our 33 defense, 32, and he was wide open, and we encourage that unless we're going for, we say burn, that means you can't shoot anything but a layup, but we weren't in burn at that point.
Last question here from Dan Foster.
Dean, was there one area of the game that was more decisive to your winning today than any other? Montross inside or Lynch?
Oh, I don't think you can say that. There's so many things, and it was a great basketball game. I think most people saw that. Both teams playing very well, the top of their games, and that little stretch, maybe Donald's basket took it to 5 was the biggest change at that point, because they had made that little run. So, but it's hard to pick out one thing, Dan.
Dean Smith in the media room, Nick, he finishes up, and we will repeat once again that our situation with Derek Phelps is this, that he injured an area on his buttocks. It's not the hip that he hurt earlier in the year, nor is it the tailbone. It is a new injury. As he said, he just falls and now gets hurt every place that he didn't have pads. But he said he never once thought of, when he went to the bench, that he could not come back. He just had to go to the bench and collect himself in an effort to try to come back. And as Coach Smith pointed out, this day off now is very important for getting that junior point guard ready to go against either Kentucky or Michigan on Monday night.
Yeah, I just heard Coach Smith say something about Mark Davis saying that maybe he won't be able to go, but seems like if he hurt himself during the game and played the remainder of the game, it won't get worse. It might get stiffer, but it won't get worse between now and Monday night.
Nick, at the time, I wasn't sure whether he was actually saying what Mark had told him after the game are what Mark had told him on the bench during the game, that each time he kept coming out that he wasn't sure whether or not he could go. As you know, we kept reporting that he was putting his face down in a towel and everything. He was grimacing noticeably when he was on the floor. And quite honestly, when Coach Smith took that time out and he went to the bench, I didn't think he was coming back. But as we've seen so often, he just reached down and got something extra of that special stuff that he's made of.
He is tough. He's all day tough, no doubt. All right, Woody, anything else from back there? I guess we got to get ready for another broadcast on Monday night.
Yeah, we do. 8:30, of course, on Monday night against either Kentucky or Michigan. I know that one's underway, and how does it stand?
Right now it's 10-7. Michigan leads Kentucky, 15-12 remaining, and the Wolverines have the ball. Weber will reverse layup score, so that makes it Michigan 12 and Kentucky 7. And the Carolina Telephone Yellow Pages congratulates tonight's Carolina Assist Error Leader. Carolina Telephone is pleased to make a donation in the name of Henrik Rodel to the General Scholarship Fund at UNC. The Tar Heel coaching staff has credited Henrik with 6 assists and 1 error. So congratulations to Henrik Rodel from the Carolina Telephone Yellow Pages, proud to support the Tar Heels on the court and in the classroom. And with that, Tar Heel Sports Network games are a Village Sports production and are produced through the studios of WCHL Radio in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Our executive producer is Jim Hebner with General Manager Bill Whitley, Sales Manager Sharon Gupton, Operations Manager Happy Drinkwalter. Our Chief Network Engineer is Paul Boone. Studio Engineer Jeff Anderson. Production Coordinator today Mike Waddell. Traffic Coordinator Billy Pridgeon. Statistician Bob Woodruff. And our production assistant is Bobby Ellis. So this is Mick Mixon along with Woody Durham, inviting you to listen to us on Monday, April the 5th at 8:30 sharp when the Tar Heels play in the championship game of the NCAA tournament here at the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. And it'll either be against the Wolverines or the Killer Cats from Kentucky. Right now the score still stands at Michigan 12 and Kentucky 7, 14:05 to play. Here, a Superdome crowd of 64,151 is looking on, and you heard it all on the Tar Heel Sports Network.